Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Oh, Bobs just turned up as I went live. Typical Bobs. Typical Bobs. You on camera yet?
No, yeah, give me a sec. I'll get myself there.
You said 5 minutes and you've been like over 10.
I was 8 at most.
Lies! I know the timestamp of the video, the message. It was 7:55. It's now 8:06. It's 11 minutes.
Okay, 11 minutes. Okay. Give me a sec. I'll get myself to the menu. What do you think?
Okay. To the menu. Oh, you're quitting the game. Are you still live?
No, not to the menu. To the OBS Ninja. Yeah, I'm talking about.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you remember everything?
I'll get it sorted. Yes, I will. I got it.
All right. Well, just tell me when you got your camera on. Then we'll get off this.
Which camera am I on? Which one?
The normal one, number 2.
Number 2. Beautiful.
Alrighty. So yeah, I just after waiting for 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I'll just get started. You can turn it when.
Yeah, just get going.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry it took so long. I'll tell you after stream.
Yeah, it's fine. It's probably dog stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Password. I got it.
Yep. All right, the bot is up and running, so if you guys want to get your questions in, feel free. One of the things I want to know is, does anyone know when CIG is back in the office? Because it's usually within the first 10 days of January. So it's either going to be Monday.
It's soon.
Yeah, so that would be the 5th, which does seem a little early. I think the earliest I've ever seen them get back in was on the 8th or 7th. So basically, I think it's either going to be the 5th or the 12th. Either way, it's not too long to go. So yeah.
Looking forward to it because we always have a rough December patch, as you know. That's just like the nature of the beast. But this one's been pretty bad. I mean, with the addition of things like engineering, it was always going to be a little messy. But we're getting 30Ks pretty rapidly. So I think for everyone would just like to be able to play the game. You can't really dig into anything. So they'll be back soon enough, I'm sure. But boy, are we waiting. We are waiting for them.
We're all waiting on you, Bops. Like we have been for the last 11 minutes by my hairy watch.
I'm almost there.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Did you get all your Luminalia stuff? Because that's still up, by the way. If you haven't got that, make sure you jump in and get that. Grim said he might stop by the way, but he's literally driving 12 hours back from his folks or mother-in-law or whatever, the Christmas holidays. So it's a 12-hour drive, and he's like, oh yeah, then I'll just drop in. So I was like, oh,
nice, let's go, Grim.
He'll be exhausted as shit. So I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll give him a bit of a while with this one.
I should be good.
Yeah, you're on. I can see you. I got you.
Beautiful.
I just realized I'm not sharing my screen, so you can't see shit. There you go. Right, you should be able to see now. My bad.
Nice. No, don't stress. Okay, so what is our topic of discussion today, X?
I don't really have one. I just made it very generic. I made it very, looking forward to this year type of thing. Obviously, we did a show with that came out. Would have been on Tuesday our time. The one that me, Astro, and Algra did about next year. So if you want to kind of, did you happen to catch that at all, or you not had a chance?
No, I haven't had the chance yet. I've had a very, very busy week. It's one of the few that I've actually missed. Do you want to give me a rundown?
We basically went kind of across all last year, but the real takeaway is this year. Right, with Squadron essentially coming out, that kind of essentially moves the goalpost. Like that end of year patch, or that pressure, the pressure of the end of year patch, essentially becomes the release of Squadron, right? So if that comes out, whenever that comes out, it really moves things, and there's probably going to be like a lull after it. Like a lot of people are going to take a break. So it's going to be a really weird year. Like we're very used to this pattern of CIG, and I think that pattern is literally going to be really off this year because it's just the unpredictability of essentially the release of the game.
the question is, do they make their mark? So for the first time, I think that they've made progress and we're getting it. Obviously, we've been told we're getting it for 2 years, for 10 years, every 2 years for 10 years. But this year looks pretty good. The question is it mid this year, end of this year, or delayed to start of next year, mid next year?
Yep, and the consensus from most people I talk to, and this is not anything other than vibes, basically, is most people think it's CitizenCon. It just makes the most sense. Yeah. It gives you basically about a month and a half before GTA comes out. We did talk about GTA, by the way. The only really fear that CitizenCon, that Squadron has of GTA is the marketing may get in the way of each other. But one is a PC game and one is a console game. And if someone has a PC and a console, they're probably going to buy both anyway. And when you've got a month and a half to wait for GTA, doesn't playing something like Star Citizen pass the time to get you to GTA? So,
yeah, and GTA's
I don't think they cross over each other as much as people think.
So GTA is going to be this behemoth of the market, right? And the reason people are afraid of GTA is simply because industry standard history in the past, it soaks all the money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Squadron 42 is a very niche game. It may get legs and broaden, and maybe GTA gets in the way of that. If let's say it releases a couple of months before GTA, it starts to build up momentum in Steam. Everyone starts to talk about it, and then boom, GTA sucks the life out of its sales. That could happen. But to be completely honest, we're talking about delays. I mean, I think GTA is getting delayed. It always does. It always gets pushed back to 6 months and then pushed back to 6 months. And I reckon CIG will play around that idea as well.
Yeah. Karazam does bring up a good point on Twitch chat. He literally says PC prices have become too expensive due to RAM and GPUs. Samsung have also announced that they're going to stop making SSDs next year. So that basically leaves motherboards and CPUs, and we already know that a lot of AMD and Intel are focusing on making servers and stuff as well. So the motherboard's just everything that ties it together. So that's not really much either. I'm noticing a very scary future. I think what's going to happen, and if you look at what Microsoft and Nintendo are doing, not Nintendo, sorry, Nvidia, they're really doubling and tripling down on cloud tech. I reckon we're going to end up being like mobile phone people, and basically they have all the power of the computers and we don't have any of it. I think that's the sad future, unfortunately.
We'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that AI bubble.
It is a very potentially scary place. Very it is scary, and I do not like it. Skynet, killer robots, everything. It like you could go down a very large doom scroll rabbit type thing, and it can be really scary. I like to think humans are better than that, but the people at the top are not the best people. It's a scary time.
All the people at the bottom, remember, every time you put a prompt into AI, it consumes like 76 liters of water. So everyone out there asking ChatGPT what the I know what's something. Oh, I'm so old now. What Justin Bieber's latest outfit was, and that prompt costs $1 million fish their lives. So it's people at the bottom just spamming ChatGPT. Will you be my friend?
It really takes 72 liters.
It's something huge like that. Don't quote me. Someone in chat might know, but it's some enormous amount. Every time a single prompt's put into it, it just smashes through water. So. We're all out there being.
Or it evaporates it and then it goes back up into the rain and comes down again.
No, server cooling. I don't know. Look into it again. Don't quote me. Look it up. It's just something I've read somewhere at some point. Yeah. So
I was talking about SSDs. There was one like over the holiday break. You get those sales and stuff, and I didn't find anything. Like I brought this was the highlight. This is a rechargeable fly killer. I was sick of the bastards. Right. But that was all I brought. But I was very tempted to buy a new Samsung SSD, and I kind of looked at what I had and I went, well, it's only kind of half full the one I've got now. You know, I can always uninstall games. I can move certain games over to my other hard drives, you know. So I was like, I don't really need it, but if I need it in the future, and it's not there. I didn't end up buying it, but I was just like I started going, yeah, but like, how valuable could that thing become? Especially when they're not making them anymore.
My question is, do other things, something's going to give, right? And so if RAM is thousands of dollars at this point,
I already know what's going to
and hard drives are thousands of dollars at this point.
We're gonna give.
Exactly.
We're gonna give up.
But do graphics cards come down or something? I'm not sure. So it's interesting to think, because the bubble has to burst and there has to be some give somewhere.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is there are a lot of companies that had invested in the PC market pretty heavily, i.e. Microsoft, right? Like Microsoft had been moving away from console, moving towards the PC market, and
yeah, but at the same time they've been in shitifying their own stuff. You know, like Windows is just full of ads, and you have to go online now to use Windows. They're literally every workaround that allows you to install a local account, they're removing it because they basically want all your data.
Yeah,
we are literally seeding our own destruction. So if you think about it was about probably 6 to 12 months ago now, they were bringing out all those AR glasses. You know, and you've seen a lot of AR glasses. Well, why do they want that? Because it sees your hands and sees what your hands are doing, and they can feed that information into the robots. So the robots know what to do. And again, like, think about all the Google Homes, like how much better their voices have got, how much better, and it's the same with Alexa or whatever it is as well. It's all been us training it, training.
Generative AI.
And do you think Google Home will be there when they want to sell us a robot?
No, I actually work in an industry. I work in an industry where right now we're working with the generative AI guys, and my job currently, as it stands, is safe. But pretty much the 16 people underneath me, like in the layer below me and just below them, they're currently helping, and they are aware of this. They're building the AI that's replacing them, or helping work to build the AI that's replacing them, which is crazy stuff. I work for a big evil Australian corporation, so they don't give a shit. They're just going to replace their workers with AI. They'll do that layer, then the next layer, and then it'll be me. So
Asher in chat points out that as of January 5th, I've looked up the dates on this, by the way, Asher, so I know what you're talking about. But of January 5th, that GPU prices are going to go up again, and it'll be 5K for a 5090. So 500. So it's like currently, I think it's like about 3K or 2.5K. So it's just going to double in price come January.
Well, then Star Citizen Squadron 42 better bloody come out now when my PC is still relevant. Not in 2 years where I need a 6090 and the next generation, because we'll all be paying 15 grand for them at this stage. Yeah, it's crazy.
What are they currently in the States, guys? Am I correct that they're doubling in price? So they're currently like 2,500 US. Is that kind of what they are? Because here in Australia they're already about 4.5. I would say some more expensive ones are already 5K. Which would basically make it like 10K for us, which is just insane. To put that in perspective, oh God, I don't know what they are now, right? But before COVID, you could get like a small hatchback car brand new for about 14,000.
Yeah.
So we're now talking an entire GPU is almost the same price, or 2/3 the price of a car. Yeah, there you go. So in euro, he said 2,300 to 2,500. That's so scary.
I just looked up 5090s in Australia, and you're looking at $5,500, so 5,500.
It depends where unless they've gone up already. But the ones I looked at recently were just under. They were like 4.4 to 4 to 5. Again, they're ridiculous. No matter what the price is, that's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a scary time we live in. Like, I brought my 5080. And at the time, I thought it was really expensive, like at 2,800, and it dropped down over time. And I think the lowest I saw it was 2.4, but it's now higher again. You know, so it's just crazy to me.
So question is, we just had Yogi have that yap about how the Squadron 42 flight model's been finished for a while and there's no more editing. There's only like slight polishes. I'll find it.
Yeah.
So my question is that the console version done as well? Because we know what's coming to console. We've seen the patterns for Squadron 42 to come to console. So do you think that the flight model's locked in? Do you think they'll push more for console, knowing that PC will be a little bit more expensive?
Because I know things, and I'm under NDA, I can't say anything.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
That's
say one thing or the other. As far as I'm aware, from what I've been told, I can't say anything. But I would say this though. I think PC is first and foremost. That I know I can say, right? And that should give you the answer that you want. Anyway, from that.
Okay.
So yeah. Look, it's always been a PC game. I think you've got rocks in your head if you turn around and say it won't eventually come to console. I think that's always a given, but yeah, I really, I think I've given you the answer you want if you read between the lines.
Yeah, you did. No, I got what you're saying.
Yeah, said too much. Right.
Well, no, you don't need to really say, but like I said, we know the patterns are there anyways. So it's coming to console. It's just a matter of when, if it's on release or 6 months later, basically.
Well, I treated it a little bit like the reverse of GTA.
Yeah, PC then ported.
Yeah, he said it, not me. Yeah. Right. We do have a few questions. I did change the time today. We've been doing like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Australian time, and then I just went, stuff it, I want to go earlier today. So I went earlier. So the views are down a little bit. That's probably because for the last 4 months or so, we haven't been able to include the British people because they've all been going to bed. So I thought we'll do it earlier today and hopefully catch some of the British people. But because they've probably got used to us not being there, they haven't turned up. But that's on me. So that's fine. But we do have I don't know, 6, 7 questions. No, actually, it's just 2 questions, and it's the Nightbot has put it itself in 3 times. So yeah, if you've got any questions, put them in, and we'll get around to them as well. Do you have that the Yogi thing? We might bring that up and have a look at it.
Yeah. I'll whiz that through to you right now. What was the Spectrum link? He's been communicating more, which is good. I think quite a lot of the team might feel more comfortable or less pressured, just in general, like all of the guys and girls at CIG. But they've all been communicating just a little bit more, which is nice. I think we got used to the.
It's a funny irony. We've been saying to them for years, you need to talk to us more. But I think they're starting to see some of the positives of it. Like, it was like, when Ben came out and he talked about the Polaris and the Perseus, and how he actually saw the benefits of talking to military people and stuff like that. It's not talking to everyone. It's talking to people that have a knowledge base of the particular thing that you're talking about. And I picked up on that when I started doing that professional point of view series where I took out the geologists. And I went and talked to people that ran tanks about a tank, or and it's not even just going, all military people. It's like very tailored to the very, if I was making something that was like a submarine, I'd go talk to a submarine person, right?
Yeah.
It's very tailored. So go talk to a specialist. It's that simple.
Well, they're the guys that give you the insight.
Yeah, well, you don't want everyone's opinion.
There's
someone
that
through them all, don't you? So just tailor it to what you're looking for.
But at the same time, too, I was going to say something else, but just on that note, at the same time, you want to be able to communicate with your community. The problem is that no community I have seen is as toxic in online forums as the Star Citizen community. Once you're actually communicating with them and talking to them, they're lovely. But the minute that there are forums like this, whether it be this,
why is that? And it comes back to Spectrum. You cannot downvote
Well,
anyone. If someone comes out and they're toxic, you could downvote their comment into oblivion if you disagree with it. But the way this thing works, it can't be downvoted. It can only ever be upvoted, so you can never get rid of it. You can never tell someone that they're wrong. You can only tell them that they're right. It's literally like an echo chamber. You can only ever up them. You can never ever down them. And it's never going to work until you can tell people they're wrong.
Even in places where you can downvote them, the community's still pretty toxic, and it's because the people who spend their time posting are people who want their voice to be heard or want to be seen.
But even then, when it's a really big issue though, and you put a lot of eyes on it. So say we you or Paul or us or Space or any big content creator in this space basically said, hey, look at this. And people would read it and they'd go, well, I disagree with that, or I agree with that. You can bring things to people's attention when it's important. The point is, there's no way for me to go in here and say, hey guys, tell them what you really think. And I don't mean positively or negative. They can only say it positively. And that's the problem. There's no discourse here. You've got to, like, one of the things you've probably learned this already with talking to me and Algrid. We don't agree on a lot of things, do we? But there's this exchange of ideas, and it kind of coalesces, and you find this middle ground, and you find all these things that you agree about and what you disagree about. I guess, but if we can't have that discourse, if you don't have the ability to say I disagree and I agree, it just doesn't happen. Because just saying I agree, you only get half of the connections to connect. So it just doesn't work. This is literally treating people like they're children. Everyone gets a reward for participation in the race, but there's no winner. So there's no competition, there's no innovation, there's no innovation.
Other problem too is certain stuff won't rise to the top.
That's it.
But anyway, I'm not here to tell them how to do their features. My point is, SE can be SE community can be really, really highly toxic, and it's been getting more toxic over the years. And when
the more people you have, the more people come in. That's just how it is. Bigger and uglier things something gets.
What I wanted to say is it's really cool to see that regardless of that, the CIG devs are coming out and communicating with us a little bit more, which is good. It's good to see. I saw an awesome post on. They're also almost taking the piss as well. I saw a New Year's post where someone was obviously quite upset. They'd posted, "Hello, I hope you're having a good New Year's." Blah 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 blah. I'm here getting 30Ks and crashing and blah 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 blah. But then the CIG devs all responded with pictures of their pets to that Reddit post, and we're just like, "Yeah, we actually are having a really good New Year. Thank you for giving us the shout out." So they've got quite good at finding a way to mitigate that toxicity while at the same time responding to us. Speaking of which, Yogi has been one who's been communicating way more. This is a great little post from him.
Do you want to summarize it, or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, so basically someone's come out and I'll read the question directly of what someone said. So someone said, where's the new flight model, essentially? And is it coming in 2026? Is it complete for Squadron 42? Are we stuck in nose-to-nose fight or light fighter dominated game until 227? This was important information because there's a part of this question that was in there is are we stuck with nose-to-nose, which means that this particular person, Grey Fox 117, which is Vegeta, is assuming that we are going nose to tail, and nose to nose is dying, which means the entire flight model is changing. Now, if this is the case, all power to them, but I don't know how we do nose to tail fighting for big ships unless light fighters and medium fighters and heavy fighters get way more damage because they can't stop and park up next to other ships and shoot at them. Like bigger ships, they have to do strafing runs, and there's not enough damage that comes out from those strafes. So he's cleverly dodged that part of the question because he knows I think he's going to get a bit of backlash from that toxic community we were talking about. But he has answered some other stuff really clearly and succinctly. So he's basically said that flight model work for Squadron 42 is complete. At this point, they're just doing tuning and balancing. The next flight model update and the short range jumping, like the new nav mode, is tied directly to the next flight model, and we'll get it when we get it. And he's said that he's going for a more of a granular approach when it comes to ships. So rather than doing a complete flight model overhaul, they're currently going through and granularly changing ships as they move through them, rather than doing one big, fat, chunky release that they then have to update. So it's all really, really good information.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm just trying to think of how people are going to perceive that, because like, you know, one set of things come in and they're really good, and then the others are shit, so they're going to complain, and then that comes in and that's, do you know what I mean? I don't know why. Obviously they've predicted that's probably the best way to do it so people don't complain. I think that's got to be why they're doing it that way. One at a time, so it becomes really obvious that this one's been fixed, type of thing.
Humans are unbelievably resistant to change. It's just a biological thing that's hardwired into us. And so if you make grand sweeping changes, real big grand sweeping changes, then you're going to upset people. They won't even know that they're being upset because it's a biological thing. They'll just kick their legs and arms and throw up in the air and say, I don't like this. So I think this is a way of mitigating that backlash, is those small granular changes. CIG been doing it all year. What do you think the monthly patch cycle helps them achieve as well? You know, they're making these changes.
Well, I think this year it's going to be bi-monthly, but yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Oz Veteran says, morning, where is Alfred? I'm Batman. That must mean you're Robin. And I replied, New Zealand veteran, nobody knows where Alfred is. Just to rub salt in the wound like you did to Alfred. But yeah, close enough. Anyway, he's, as far as I know, he's still out on the cruise. He did contact me and wish me well for New Year's. But I hope he's having a good time.
I was having a yap to him. He sounds like he's enjoying his time off.
Do you know what he said to me? And I quote, I'm going on a cruise for 6 weeks and I'm going to be entertaining my friend. And he went red as fuck. He's not good with the word usage. But yeah, I just keep sending little messages like, how goes the entertaining? You know. Stuff like, yes. Osrich just says, what type of cruise? Just cue the love boat.
All right. Well, so with stuff like this, with more communication, I do want to touch on one thing and ask you something about this. But with more communication coming out from the devs from SC, from CIG, are you expecting to see this stuff sort of ramp up as they get excited in the lead up to Squadron 42? Or do you think they're going to start to communicate less? So there's a juxtaposition there, because Chris literally said it would have a very short marketing cycle, right? But when Paul's parents were gaming marketing people, right? And he did a lot of it when he was younger before he started teaching. And Grim, he comes along, he can talk for himself when he comes along later today if he comes. But he's done some marketing as well. And SA's done some marketing and stuff like that. So I talked to all of them. And basically they all kind of said roughly the same thing, that somewhere between February to Invictus, right? So in that kind of 3-month window, is where they would expect the ball to start rolling. If it was coming out in October, it would literally need that much marketing. But if they're turning around and saying it's a very short window, now does short be like a traditional one's about 6 months, right? So when you say shorter, I go, just 3 months? Like, it's not, like, surely it's not going to be 2 or 1 month, right? Like, so I think it was Chris saying, Chris is smart. And he knows that when this is, I think when this is ready, he wants to just push it. I think he's looking to push it as quickly as he possibly can. So I think he said short marketing cycle because I think they are just going to go, all right, it's done. Let's get it out as fast as we can, which has me wondering where we'd land with all of the boxed stuff. So like the stuff that comes with the special edition spaceship that's sitting on a rock, or yeah. You probably can't say a bunch, but all of that box.
I actually I can say, physicalized stuff will come later.
It's coming later. Okay,
that should tell you everything you need to know. But I can't say specific things about other things.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't. I'm not. I just know things that I can't say things, because I've been told things, and I told people I wouldn't say anything. So I can't. You have to do that. If someone says to you, "Please don't say anything," you don't. Especially when and I've built friendships with these people. I would feel like I'm breaking someone's trust.
It's a bit bad reporter.
Yeah,
if you're burning your sources.
Yeah, basically. You guys will find out in time, and it's not, it's not going to be like. I don't think it changes anything, to be honest. It's just, that would have been nice.
Well, what it changes is how much CIG can milk us. Because if they release a Vandal pack that comes with a limited edition blade, and then a good guy pack that comes with a limited edition F7, and a good guy pack that comes with a limited edition F8, etc. You're
looking at different variants. That's not what you need to look at. You can actually figure it out, right? If you have the cohorts, you can figure out what I can't tell you.
My point is that that's money left on the table. If they do an F8 variant and an F7 variant and a blade variant, and it's like a super limited edition where you only get the skin for that particular thing, everyone is whales. I'll go out and spend $900 to buy one of every single pack, and I'm certain that the vast majority of Squadron 40.
I think they'll probably have 3 editions. I don't think they'll have any more than that, because there's also games that you and I have talked about this, like the game Evolved. Right, that's like a marketing hellscape of what to never do. So for those that don't know, there was a game called Evolved. It won like 80+ Game of the Year awards at E3 back in the day, right? And the marketing people, it's by 2K Games, so the same people that make GTA, and the marketing people killed that game. They literally on release had like over 18 different versions of the game, and it was an utter clusterfuck, because depending on where you ordered it, even in different countries, you got different special things, right? And so people were trying to buy them. People just wanted everything, but they couldn't get everything, right? So people were trying to buy the biggest version, sometimes buying multiple versions to get all the little extra. Google on the other side of the room went off. Trying to buy all these different things, and it just, a lot of people got really pissed off because they couldn't just buy one version and get everything, right? And it's become a real masterclass for not what to do in marketing, because it killed the game, because people just went, I'm not buying any of it. If I can't get all of it by pre-ordering and buying it on day one, I'm done. Those really ultimate collector people, they just got pissed off, and they didn't invest in the game. And the game ended up going free to play because it didn't do very well.
So the average person will just buy the $60 version or whatever. Well, 120, exactly. I think, is industry standard now. But we're not talking about.
Sorry, that's Australian prices. Don't freak out. He said Australian price. Don't freak out. Right.
Well, it's 80 or 90 in America now, which is crazy.
Well, it depends. When you're on PC, the standard price is still about $89. Right. It's only console that. So that's the other thing. You got to remember it.
I'm getting sidetracked.
Go ahead.
My point is that we're not dealing with your average consumer when we're talking about something connected to Star Citizen. If they release those 3 packs and they put them one at 120, one at 160, and one at 400, we're talking about a community that buys 2 different versions of a Kraken for $1,600, and it's a JPEG. They're gonna buy this. That's only one Kraken to get all versions.
They are definitely going to try and milk us whales for a bit of extra cash. I have no doubt of that. Absolutely have no doubt of that, right? It's special skin or a special ship or whatever. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I want to try a thought experiment with you, right?
Go ahead.
Right. So we were talking before about if you have a single player game, right? So let's just make it a whole nother game, right? Now I have this single player game. How would you go about releasing it to maximize your profit? How would you do it?
Mobile.
But you didn't build it for mobile. So what would you release it
I'd
on?
still put it on mobile.
Thought experiment. What would you release? What would you release it on?
Console. Console's where all the money is.
Okay.
Console's where you make all the money.
But you also didn't build it for console.
Doesn't matter because the
answer the question. You'll have, if you can answer the question I just asked you, you'll have your answer.
You just port it.
No. Think about it again. If I didn't build it for console and I built it for PC, how would you maximize your expenditure and make the most profit?
Mobile.
Can someone please answer this for him? Someone will say it in chat and you'll get it, right? Because if you think about it, it's so fucking obvious, but I can't tell you.
Loot boxes? Yeah.
God, think about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it. It's so obvious. Once you and I'm sitting here and I can't tell you, but someone will get it. Oh, some people are close. Some people are really close. Really close.
Are you talking about cloud gaming?
No. So where do you think that they would release Squadron? What you just think about it. But where would they release it?
They should put it if they're only doing PC, which I doubt very much.
It's a single player game, and they've got it ready to go on PC. We know that that's a fact, right? At the moment, right? So again,
you put it on Steam.
It's a thought.
You put it on Steam. Yeah, of course. But like, it was so that's a given. Even without knowledge that whatever knowledge is that you have, every single game company.
He said it.
Every single game company that's running an MMO puts it onto Steam. Like that's just what they do.
And if you remove Steam, what else do you have?
Mobile.
So what's the next biggest one after Steam?
Xbox Game Pass.
What did CG Project Red make?
The good old games, GOG.
Yep. What did the Unreal Engine people make?
Mobile. No, you're trying to say to Epic. I don't like to utter that disgusting word because that guy.
But now,
the guy from.
I think you have your answer.
From Epic is
I think you have your answer. You got to remember, it's a single player game, and they don't engage with each other.
Yeah, Todd Sweeney has said some really tragic stuff, so I don't like to raise his company's name because he's a bit of a menace. I shouldn't say much in the case he's watching and sues me. Don't sue me. Actually, you know what? Come at me, Todd Sweeney. No, don't come at me, Todd Sweeney. Come at me, not Inforunners. But yeah. So what's your point? What's your point about it coming to the third party? Are you just saying that it's going to be more readily accessible?
Right, recite it again. I think it's obvious what I was trying to say. But yeah. It's obvious. If you're going to market it, you're going to sell it far and wide. Platforms. Far and wide.
Yeah. But that's what MMOs do. Look at Eve. Eve's in Steam. Tarkov is a more modern example that's gone to Steam. An MMO that launched out of launcher. You look at even Blizzard games like Diablo, which is an MMO these days, launched to Steam as well, or was out on Steam a month or two later. So it's everyone knows that Steam is the monopoly. It has been for years and will maintain that monopoly probably until it goes public because the company's not public at the moment. The
thing that makes it obvious when you start to think about it is it's a single player experience, right? And knowing that they're probably more than likely planning to put it on consoles, it's an independent experience. It's kind of a little bit like Xbox Game Pass's approach. Doesn't matter where you're playing it, as long as you're playing with us. It's that type of thing. So you kind of run it through, it becomes obvious very quickly. That's simple.
The question is, if they go to something like... Actually, no, I just answered my own question because it's not Star Citizen, it's Squadron 42. I was going to say, are we going to see...
And that's how you got to think. As I said, once you
Yeah,
start to
'cause
think about it, it becomes really obvious.
Yeah, because I was thinking, are we going to see a world where, in the same way with Arc Raiders, I tried to search Arc Raiders on Steam and couldn't find it because there was just $100 microtransaction, $100 microtransaction, $100 microtransaction. So it makes me makes me wonder if you look for Star Citizen and it's just what's Kraken expansion $1,600.
You wouldn't be looking for Star
but
Citizen. You'd be looking for Squadron
you'd be
42.
looking for Squadron 42. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Genius.
Yeah. So, because I think that's the other problem they've got too, and you could see it as a problem or a blessing, is most people don't know Squadron and Star Citizen are tied together. So, do you even advertise?
Talking about this?
Do you even advertise them together? So that's that. Yeah, well, I know we've talked. All of us have talked about it. It's just a really weird conundrum. Do you let people know, or do you keep it a secret? Because in some ways, it will be a weight around the neck. Those that do know, I'm sure it's going to be a weight. You know, like I'm not going to buy it because this is a piece of shit. So that'll be a piece of shit. You know, it's
dangerous because if the game succeeds and it's flawless, people will nitpick it because it's Star Citizen, right? They're gonna pull it apart. So even if it's like just a great single player short campaign, you're gonna get the headlines. After 15 years, all they could produce was a Call of Duty ripoff or something, right? Like you're gonna get those headlines. That's not what I believe, but that's the headlines you're gonna see in Kotaku and whatnot. After 15 years, all it amounted to was a cheap looking Titanfall, something like that, right? But then there's also if it knocks people out of the water, if it is a unprecedented success and critical success, then it is the
people have got the wrong message in chat. You've got the wrong message. I said Squadron. I never said Star Citizen. Split them apart in your head. Now start thinking about them like that, and it'll all start to click. Right?
Star Citizen 42?
There are people literally saying Star Citizen will never appear on Steam. Absolutely correct. Absolutely.
I think that.
Because it's
they're wrong.
no, because it's multiplayer, and if you sell something in a multiplayer game, the profit, 30% of the profit has to go to Steam. But in a single player game that doesn't have any of those transactions, it's totally fine.
Oh, it'll come to Steam. It's a matter of when, not if. Whether it's next year or 5 years.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, because there's no way they leave that cash cow.
It's a lot, but 30% is a lot of money to leave on the table just to give them. Well, they're not running the servers. All they're running is the front store. Why do they deserve 30% of the profit? They didn't do anything to earn it, other than having the place to buy it. Once they've got. That's
it. No, that's it though. The reach with Steam, and that's the big thing.
So you use Squadron to pull people in, and then you feed them over to Star Citizen. You see where I'm going? It's literally a door opener that brings you in and off Steam and onto RSI Launcher or wherever the frick they want to keep it. Why would you give Steam 30% of the money for doing nothing? They aren't doing anything.
Why does EA, Ubisoft, the Battlestate, the Tarkov guys give them 30% of their money? The reason they give them 30% of their money is because it increases their audience like tenfold. But it does expose Star Citizen. It will lift the sheet up to all the bugs underneath. Not the video game bugs. I mean, the little creepy crawlies, if you do expose it to a wider audience. And that's the issue. So on that note, and I'll ask you this question because I just got to walk away for 2 seconds. And I'll be listening when I walk away. Is Squadron 42, is its release, and let me rephrase this, is Star Citizen going to be ready for Squadron 42?
No.
No? Expand. I'll be back in 1 second.
They've already said it's basically 1.0 for 2027. So no, that they've told us it's not going to be. You know, they've been trying to get base building up and going. And again, look, if I go over to the roadmap, check it up over. You know, these are all the gameplay pillars when it decides to load. And if you kind of go base building, it stopped back here in October. And just so you know, crafting and all that were stopping here as well. So the fact that they've continued, the engineering's continued, and the crafting's continued, it tells me they've paused base building. And that's also why more than likely the forge has paused as well. And if the forge is paused, more than likely the pioneer is paused as well. Yeah. I think 1.0 is just, they just don't have the, because they had so many people working on Squadron, it's until Squadron's out of the way, we're just not going to see enough work on Star Citizen until Squadron's out the door. It's just that simple.
But the impact it'll have on their reputation, if like, so you're talking about Squadron, and to be clear, I kind of agree with you. So I'm just continuing your point here. Mm-hmm. If Star Citizen's not ready, if Star Citizen's not in a playable state, and I'm talking like playable state. So I talk about this all the time with how I have a friend who goes by the name of Huz, who is like the AAA guy, right? He only plays AAA games, and I use him as a litmus test and bring him to Star Citizen because he sees the things that us apologists don't see, right? So here's a perfect example. I got him to come and play recently, and he got into his spaceship, and his spaceship wouldn't turn on. So I said, "Oh, you just need to get out of the seat and get back in." And he said, "Okay, why do I need to do that?" I said, "Oh, it's just a bug." And he went, "Okay, so why hasn't that bug been fixed?" And I said, I don't know. I just get in and out of the seat and I can fly my ship again. And he goes, "But why hasn't that been fixed?" And then he opens his map and he can't set a route from his hangar. And I said, "Oh, that's a bug. You've got to leave your hangar because otherwise the map won't work properly." And he goes, "Okay, well, why doesn't the map work properly?" And I go, "Well, because it's a bug there at the moment. But if you just leave your hangar, it'll be fine." And he goes, "But why doesn't it work? Why haven't they addressed that?" And he asked that question about 5 or 6 times as he tried to like leave his hangar and jump from Hurston up to the space station. And when he got to the space station, he said, "I'm not playing this game. It's not ready." And then he turned it off. Right? So he's the kind of person that that Squadron 42 is trying to bring in, is those like everyman AAA gamers. And if they come to Star Citizen and they open their map and the map function doesn't work properly, they're going to go, "Well, why doesn't the map function work properly?" Right?
Exactly.
And then they get into their hangar and try and call the hangar, and the hangar just doesn't open for 5 minutes, and then their ship turns sideways and goes purple and disappears before their eyes, or something like this, or spawns under the elevator, or one of these hundreds and hundreds of bugs that we bump into.
I've seen it with multiple friends I've brought in. It's exactly the same. They come in and they say there's nothing to do. They don't even, and a lot of them is because they just don't know where the contract manager is. Why isn't it called missions board or something like that? That is what they say to me. Why isn't it called missions or quests? Why is it called contracts? That they get confused by. It's the same problem that I said with when they called them CCUs. You need to call them something that people understand. Well, I get the contracts thing, I do, but they're not really. How many games? I'm sure there's been some other games, but how often are they called contracts? They're usually called missions or quests, are they not? Right? So it just throws some people off. And the fact that I've got to open a thing on my wrist and go through there is a little weird to some people, right? They just expect to be talking to someone, and it gives them the quest, like a quest giver. But even then, once you finish talking to them, it just kind of come up and you've got to accept it and all that stuff. So it's done in a really non-intuitive way at the moment. And again, I think it's a horse problem. Because obviously there's going to be tutorials and stuff like that. But every time they've ever made tutorials, and they've done it 3 or 4 times over the years, within 6 months, they are completely useless. Like if you go in and play the tutorial thing that's there now, it kind of teaches you kind of how to fly, but it's a little busted already, right? And it really locks you in. Like there's no way to jump out of the tutorial at any time.
I think Squadron 42 will be the tutorial, right? Like that's the point. Is what by the time you get to the end of Squadron 42, you will have had your tutorial. Yeah. But
or at least on how to fly and shoot.
Correct. Which is the basics, right? That's the things that they need to learn. And they'll know how to use their Mobi, because I'm sure the Mobi will be in Squadron 42, right? But the problem is that, again, your average Call of Duty gamer or your AAA game, your Battlefield player, right? When they come to Star Citizen, if it's not in a playable state, they're not going to stay. They're gonna go. So what do we need to do this year to get to the point where they can keep that player? Because that's what would be healthy for our game. That's what's good for the game. That's what CIG want, is to increase their player base. So what can they do to have that? Because there's going to be a massive influx of players coming over from Squadron 42. I'm thinking hundreds of thousands that at least open Star Citizen and have a look at it. So
I'm of two minds, right? So there's essentially kind of, as I see it, kind of roughly three ways you can go about it. You can either tell people about it, but if or you finish the game and it goes, oh, now continuing multiplayer in Star Citizen, or you can never tell them about it. And I think probably the most likely outcome, which I think is probably the best way to go, is when Star Citizen is finally ready, then you notify the people that have Squadron.
Okay. So you're saying release Squadron.
So maybe up on the menu it brings up, whenever it comes out, if they open the game again, it opens it. If they buy the second one, then advertise it with the second one or whatever. But if you advertise it and it's not ready, you only get one chance to make a first impression. If that first impression is horseshit,
what if it says in big bold letters?
Won't matter.
Join alpha state game now.
Doesn't
Join
matter.
the alpha.
Your friend told you everything you needed to know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They don't care. It doesn't, like, this whole early access thing. If there's not a game there that they can actually play a little bit when it comes out to early access, they just don't care. The foundation has to be there, and you would agree, and almost everyone here would agree, the foundation is not there. I was on a podcast with Space last week, right? And we still do not have that fundamental core gameplay loop. We've got lines of gameplay where you can put maybe 2 or 3 chains together, but we do not have a loop, right? And the first core one that I think it is the core of the entire game, by the way, is I have something of value, bad guy can find it, good guy stops them. That's it, right? It's so simple. It's the most simple one in the entire game, right? And then obviously you can have ones that expand off that. So you have, I destroy ship, salvage guy comes along, salvages it, makes something of worth, bad guy wants it, good guy tries to stop him. So it adds into that loop. But the core one is literally just, I have something of worth, right? Whether it be cargo, mining, whatever. But at the moment, until we get able to give the bad guys the scanners who find said products, that gameplay loop is not there, right? And the scanning stuff was on the roadmap. Actually, if I go back, is it still on there? Let's have a look. Oh shit, I opened the wrong window. Where is it? Engineering, FPS radar, scanning. So that's FPS. That's the on foot shit, and that's apparently finished in December. I don't know. Did you see any on foot scanning stuff in your travels? I haven't. You know the best part about Bops is when he's completely
I'm muted.
Yeah.
I've seen the emissions for being on foot, and I think there is. I'm sure I saw. I haven't done it myself, but thinking about it now, I've seen a Reddit post of someone pinging with an attachment on their gun. They pinged and got the same ping that you get from your spaceship. I haven't done it myself though.
It's a lot shorter too. You can almost see where it ends. Like it's only in like a 20-25 meter radius. Like it doesn't go all the way out to the horizon like the ships do. It's a lot smaller. But that is probably the last part we need before that whole system starts to get more detailed. We've had so many discussions with you and so many other people. Scanning is one of the most important systems in the entire game, and it's a massive system. But once that comes online, the entire game changes.
It's so important for player interaction, and I'm going to say something. I know I need to be careful when I communicate with about PvP aspects with other people's audiences, because I exist in that PvP world and not everyone does. So I'm going to broach a PvP topic, guys. I need you to just stay calm, okay? So we've talked before about how scanning allows people like me, the pirate hunters, to find the pirates, right? And we've talked about how scanning allows pirates to locate the supply line game players, so the miners, the haulers, and the salvagers and crafters by extension, right? And we've also talked about how scanning can help those supply line gameplay guys find things that they need to do their crafting and hauling and these sort of things. All of this drags us, like you were saying before, drags us together. It gives people like me someone to protect and keep safe in those dangerous zones. The whole game shouldn't be dangerous. Again, we've been through this. There should be locations where if you want to avoid PvP, you can avoid it. Not entirely. There's still always going to be that 0.1% chance, but you can avoid it slightly. But there should be in those more dangerous zones, i.e. Nyx and Pyro and other areas that get dropped in the future, ways for players to interact. Now, the reason that I say this is because, as we know, Star Citizen's had a pretty rough month. And everyone I know is playing other games at the moment, just because Star Citizen is 30K'ing quite a bit, and we're struggling with it a little bit, right? I've had so many players go play ED that used to play ED, Elite Dangerous, right? That used to play ED, come back and go, I didn't see a single player the entire time I was playing. It was a boring game, right? I've had heaps of players go and play other MMOs that don't have that interaction, like a No Man's Sky, for example, right? They might bump into a player, but they don't get to engage with that player. That player is not a threat. When they come back to Star Citizen and they start hauling from even somewhere like Microtech, Babbage down to Babbage up to what's above Babbage? I never go there anymore. What's above Babbage? Tressler. From Babbage to Tressler. And even in that very safe zone, in that one very safe short jump, as you're moving towards the space station, you're looking around going, what's that? What's that? Is that Gladius looking at me? Okay, it's moving on. Okay, right. And you have to actually like be aware of your surroundings. So scanning will, in those huge spaces like Elite Dangerous has, which Star Citizen will have in the future, scanning is our way to drag us all a bit closer. You know, oh, I can scan and see that there's a player base on the other side of Terminus. Terminus is a planet in Pyro for you guys who've never been to Pyro. You can say, okay, on this massive, there's a massive planet. There's a base.
For those of you that have never been to Pyro, Terminus is that's the way he said it. So people are saying like, nobody knows what that planet is. Yeah, anyway.
Nobody knows what Terminus is. But Terminus is this massive planet in Pyro that is hard enough to even find your way around the points of interest on the planet, let alone, okay, I know that there's a pirate base on the dark side of Terminus close to Ruin. My scanning can help me track that down. This is where they're operating from. Me as a pirate hunter, bounty hunter, can go in there and clear them out. In the same way, you might be playing in Nyx out in that big blue mystical asteroid field going between, say, Levski and the Ice Giant, whenever the Ice Giant comes out. Nyx 3, I think it is the Ice Giant. And there should be a way for people to be able to track you if you're a supply lane hauler. And the same way that you should be able to have escorts on your side using scanning to see if anything is presenting a threat in the hyper lanes, for lack of a better term, quantum lanes. So it really brings us all together and stops us from becoming that like dull, uninteractive experience that Elite Dangerous is. Like I said, we've been playing it. We've been trying to play it in the downtime. And players never interacting with each other makes for a real snooze of a game. Even for the guys who I play with who aren't PvP guys. Well, they're saying the same thing.
I can probably only add to that and basically say also, bring in the whole 90% of the population being AI, or, with the simulation running in the background. They want it to be a crowded universe. And let's be honest, games like ED are the standard where there just isn't anything. And if there's anything there, it's usually an AI, and it's usually pretty sparse. There's, maybe, if you're lucky, 5 of them on screen at once, right? So, I think we're in, like, I don't know, before everything kind of started going a bit shitty before holidays, but I noticed there was a lot more AI walking around. Did you pick up on that as well? Like walking around the stations and stuff? And
yeah, and they were behaving a bit better too. They weren't T-posing on chairs and stuff. So
so they're gradually improving as well. But obviously they're going to want to get those numbers up too. They're going to want them. I want to go on a station. I want to feel like I'm in a crowd. I want to go down to a city, and if I'm walking through, you live in Brisbane. I've been to Sydney, Melbourne. You take Federation Square in Melbourne, or you took around the Sydney Harbour Bridge, or what the ones in Brisbane called?
Go on. You got it.
The Valley was it the Valley? The Valley.
Yeah.
I was right there. I was like, man, I haven't been there in so long. But you know, you go down to the Valley, right, and it's just all those people there, right, and that's the point I'm trying to get to, right? Like I want to walk in and feel like it's the town square, right? And and I think they've got that idea. Like I can see where they're going with it. That it's just the implementation is a sum of its parts, and as you take the length of any time that anyone's ever been here, and this game is always improving, but it's such at a glacial pace. It's just kind of not fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think once Squadron gets out, and they can actively put some proper people and some proper time, I hope it exponentially increases in quality. Like, we'll put it this way: once say Squadron comes out this year, right? And they've said 1.0 is 2027. How quickly from the small bunch of people who are working on Star System right now to, let's say, it triples or quadruples, does that mean, I don't even know what the size difference would be. It could be 100 times bigger. It could be double. I don't know, right? But whatever that exponential thing is, try and math that out. How much quicker does that mean Star Citizen starts to move along? You get to me.
We'll
So that's if this is the speed we've been moving at all this time, and then all of a sudden they actually put way more people on it, and most of the developers I've talked to have all said it's tools based. They just don't have the tools to do what they need to do. So they start making those tools. Those tools are completed and they work out. How quickly then are they going to be able? Once they have those tools in place, they can just start doing what they need to do. That's what every developer I've talked to, that's been the big frustration. It's just like, if they just gave us the tools, we could have made all this shit. But they're not prepared to stop the people working on Squadron to take a small amount of time to make a tool. And I think that's the bottleneck. They've never been prepared to share them around. They've just put them all on Squadron. Yeah.
My worry, and I know you have this worry, and I know every single person watching has this concern too. I've just seen it pop up on Twitch. My concern is that when Squadron 42 comes out, they all move immediately onto Squadron 43.
They've always
I know it's not going to be called Squadron 43. Just to be clear,
but they've always said when the first one comes out, they will actively split into two teams, and one will go into Squadron 42 Episode 2. Behind enemy lines, and the other would start working on Star Citizen. So I'm only imagining half of them will come across, right? But I would have to think initially, right, knowing that Squadron is out in the wild and Star Citizen is the potential dead weight around its neck, it would have to heavily go into let's prioritize Star Citizen for say 6 to 12 months and then go back to Episode 2. That's where my brain goes, right? Because if you can get that up to par really quick,
are we already there?
But does that not remove the weight? Well, we don't have base build, and we don't have the basic fundamentals. All that shit I described before. The core gameplay loops are not there.
That's my worry. Is that about 12 months ago, when they said that we were moving on to polishing phase of Star Citizen, or a little bit further back from that, we saw quite a lot of the Squadron 42.
Polishing a Squadron.
Yeah, polishing a Squadron. We saw a lot of the Squadron 42 guys come across to Star Citizen, and we've seen that massive increase in a whole bunch of new features being added, and content being added. Because remember, the Squadron 42 guys are going to be more content driven than necessarily feature drivers, right? So I feel like we've already seen a huge amount of that team come across. That's what this year of stability makes me laugh every time I say it. Playability was maybe we're already there. Most of the team is already over working on it.
So there's some people talking in a chat about Elite and Dangerous and No Man's Sky. I did try Elite Dangerous. I just found it boring as hell. I was always on my own. There was always I didn't like the way it flew. ED is just a single player game. Yeah, masquerading as a multiplayer. I want that multiplayer interaction is what I wanted.
It's the same with No Man's Skies. Yeah. I like to look at them as I play them both. No Man's Sky was great. I haven't played all the expansions, but I played a fair bit of No Man's Sky. Again, totally different game to Star Citizen. No Man's Sky. It's more of like a crafter, survivor builder, survival builder. But all three of them are very, very good games. No Man's Sky and ED are like co-op games, not multiplayer, not mass
Yeah.
multiplayer games. Does that make sense?
Yeah, again, different people like different things. So those people that are looking for a single player experience, out here, go enjoy it. But I have this thing in my brain that if I know I'm just playing against a machine and going through the motions, can't do it. Just can't. So I need to be playing against a person, or I just can't do it. It feels like I'm a robot automaton if I'm just playing against myself. The monkey switch analogy.
That seems like they're also, I can see on YouTube they're losing their mind because they're saying, "Oh, space is so big you'd never see anyone." It's a video game, and at the end of the day, there's going to be locations where you should be connecting with players. We're talking about too.
Look at how the games were in the 80s till they are now, right? Like you can only work with the tech you've got, you know. So
correct.
And look at all the tech Star Citizens had to make. I sent you a quote yesterday, by the way, didn't I? Did you end up kind of figuring out what I was trying to say?
Sort of.
I think, read it when he's read this and gone, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
No, for me, I don't like to be an apologist for video game companies, and it felt very apologist in that it was
it's not an apology. It's to try and get you to understand things. And every time, so what I said to Bops was every time Bops was saying he's not enjoying the game too much at the moment. I said, well, here's a quote that I always read when I'm struggling with the game, right? And it's a quote by I'll go back to the message I actually sent you. Where is it? So this is a quote by George Bernard Shaw, and he was a playwright. And it basically says, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." That sounds like Chris Roberts to me, right? And it's entirely true though. If someone doesn't persist, that you know, how many people have you met where they're trying to get something done and everyone says it's not possible, it's impossible, and then you hear about them doing it eventually, right? It might take their entire lifetime. You also hear those really sad stories where it's like 5 years after they die they discover they were correct or something like that. And there are multiple times in history that this has happened. It requires someone unreasonable, otherwise everyone will be just the same and do nothing. Right. So what the analogy I'm trying to say is the reason why there's all these bugs and these issues and these problems is because they're the type of people we're dealing with. They're trying to get to the end goal of making sure the whole thing can work before they come back and build it all. If you were trying to fix it all the way along, you're never going to even know if you can get to the end. So get to the end and know that it's at least going to be possible, then come back and fix everything. That's what I was trying to tell you. But maybe it's not that clear, but I read that quote a lot, and it really makes me think. And I know that if it was just people that were resting on their laurels,
everything
we
that's
wouldn't get there.
I've talked about this before. Everything that's in Star Citizens can be done. There's a game doing it. It's called X. I was playing it last night on stream. X has full capital ships, light fighters, medium fighters. You can control fleets. You can, yeah.
There's a lot of people playing that right now with the VR stuff. Yeah.
There you go. You can control fleets. You can put turrets, automated turrets, all those things that the single player gamers want to play in their multiplayer game, Star Citizen. It's there and it can be done. The thing is that X is doing it offline. Now the question is, can we take that and put it online? And so I'm keen to see if we do end up with a lot of those features, the crafting, the ability to manage an economy, build a satellite base, and then fly your capital ships around it and this sort of stuff. Will we have the players to be able to man all of those ships as well? That's the other thing too, is everyone I know owns a Kraken or an Idris. I don't know a single person that doesn't own a Kraken or an Idris. But how many people are going to be willing to leave their Kraken to get into someone else's Kraken while paying the full price for a Kraken, whatever cost it's going to be to have it as an upkeep? So are we going to have the players to man these big ships? I don't know.
Let me try and give you an example of what you were trying to just on par with. What was that? me just see if I can open this. All right, so this is on Steam. It's got 60% off. Why did I go full screen there? I don't know. Here, let me bring it across. All right, so this is a game that I followed called The Riftbreaker, right? And I'm not going to really go on about the game, right? You can look into this if you want, whatever, right? But what I want to talk about is its journey, right? And I think it kind of can kind of highlight. You just mentioned X4, right? So say X4 was to take what they've done and become multiplayer, right? So it's, if you, am I muted or you're muted? What are you trying to tell me, Bobs? Oh shit, I'm muted. Oh shit, sorry. I'm an idiot. I hit F11 and it muted on thing. Sorry. So what I'm talking about here is the Riftbreaker, right? Sorry, I just realized I forgot where I was up to. But what I wanted to talk about with the Riftbreaker is its journey, right? So taking what you kind of said there about X4, right? So if you want to look into this game, look into this game. The game's kind of irrelevant, but it was the journey that the game went on, right? Now, it took them roughly about 3 years to make this. It was a single player game, right? It then took them a further 3.5 years, so longer than the original game, to make it into a multiplayer variant of it. That's crazy, right? So if X4 took them, how long has X4 been around for? Like 5-6 years? It would take them probably another 5-6 years or longer just to make the same game multiplayer. That just shows you the complexity, and that's one of the reasons why Star Citizen's taking so long.
When X4 dropped, it was rough. Like I followed the X series forever. I'm a space sim guy. I'm a space flight sim guy. That's why I played Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky and Freelancer and X and all the rest. Now Star Citizen as well and a bunch of others, is because these flight sims are everything to me. I love them. I love these space games. I played X4 when it came out, and it was rough. It's taken until now, and if you look at the graphics of X4, you'll see that it's nowhere near the fidelity of something like Star Citizen, right? But it's taken them until about 2 or 3 years ago to even have it running functionally. And we're not even going online with X4, right? Yeah. So
great little game, by the way. For like, it's kind of like
this game rocks.
If you've never played it, I've been trying to get Henkin to play it for years.
It's so good.
It's basically like a tower defense base builder.
Meets Supreme Commander.
Now co-op, and you can go to different parts of the planet and feed resources back to your main base. So you might be at the normal biome, which is where your main home base is, and then you might go off to like an acidic biome, and all of a sudden you're feeding a certain resource from there back to your. So it's got these multiple parts you can go around to on the planet, and it's really clever how it's done. The single player was absolutely amazing. That was the tech tree you saw there too, the massive tech tree. You unlock all these different weapons, all this different technology. So it's almost like StarCraft crossed with a base builder, all in co-op. It's just, there's nothing else.
Game rocks.
And it's all played in WSAD, and you move the mouse around, and that's the direction your mech or bot faces.
It's a classic stick shooter, or like X has said, with a mouse, but a stick shooter is the term. Classic stick shooter with RPG mechanics, grander, almost 4X mechanics, and then like real-time strategy, almost in the vein of Supreme Commander. This game rocks. This game's awesome.
It combines. When did you discover it? It combines about 4 or 5 different games, but yeah.
My brother, I've got an older brother who is a bigger nerd than me. He's got, his Steam has almost 10,000 games on it. It's crazy. But so
is all I'm going to say. My housemate has way too many.
There you go. But my point is, when it comes to like the Gamescoms with like, or like the demo weeks and months that they do, he plays like he tries to play everything that he can. This is one that he came to me with in a demo about. He came to me and went, "This looks really, really good."
Well, I played a bit of it. I followed it since it was first announced, even before early access. I was in all the tests for it, and the multiplayer tests and stuff like that. And I've got many friends into it. It's a very cheap little fun game. I guarantee you, it's got multiple expansion packs as well. But I'll guarantee you'll play this at least once on your own. And playing it with mates is just, well, look at the lunacy of it. It's all physics based. So when you're killing stuff, it's like flying all over the screen. It's a very satisfying game to play, and it just becomes absolute chaos. And then when you add other people into it, it's just the teamwork. I love teamwork games, so this really speaks to me. Anyway, enough of the sales pitch for Riftbreaker, but what is it now at the moment?
But yeah,
it's,
so
So Australian,
17 bucks. Go buy it.
$17.50. So that'll be like $10 American or something like that. It's
Absolutely
so cheap.
worth it.
Yeah, it's so cheap. And the original price there for the whole thing, I got it for $40 when it first came out. So you can get all the expansions for the original price. So there you go.
Hey, can I just address something that I've seen? I've seen it a couple of times in your YouTube chat here. I just wanted to mention it. Because I see this all the time in Board Gamers YouTube chat as well, and quite a lot of guys who aren't necessarily combat focused. And to be clear, my channel isn't combat focused, but we do a lot of combat. I see people will say things like, griefers will just get us, or griefers are. It's this absolute victim mentality. I can see someone there who says the whole game will be influenced by a few griefers. Something, and I saw earlier up. This victim mentality has got to change, guys. The tools are there for you to play this game, Star Citizen, in a way where you can keep yourself safe. Now, first of all, I did a bit of a poll on my screen, on my stream the other day. Not a single person had been pirated. Well, one person had been pirated in the last 5 years. What they had been is griefed and blown up at OM1s. That should change with security systems, hopefully.
That's
in the
what
future.
I was about to say. It's just a cart for the horse problem. This is not.
But even now, there's so many tools and resources. You don't have to be a victim. I don't know why people go so well with me. There are people that you can pay to protect you just by reaching out. Nothing in a game where you're making billions of dollars at the moment. I have 1.7 billion.
That is going to be the utter norm when scanning comes in. We don't even have escorting right now. It's not a mission that you can take.
We can still reach out in global. Mind you, global needs to change. We won't get into that. But then there's also the ability to learn how to just navigate the system. Just drop out before an OM1. I think there's a term for it. What are all the actual good supply runners and salvagers call it? They call it like something hopping, where like as you jump towards a OM or jump towards a planet, you just drop your engines halfway and then jump in a different direction and drop your halfway.
Least predictable route. Can I just answer Bartum's there? It says you mean force, not choose to do if game goes in this direction. No, you're never going to be...
You're choosing to play the game.
So again, you're choosing to play the game. That's the first part of it. But the second part is we don't have different security sectors in game yet either, right? So at the moment, if you get attacked, they don't turn up to assist you. That is going to be a thing. Like if you're in Stanton in a high security system and you get attacked, they will literally turn up within 5 minutes, right? And obviously the closer you are, say you're really close to Crusader, they'll turn up almost instantly. But if you're way out on the furthest like blackness of space, it'll take them 5 minutes to get there. And then in the medium security and low security, well, it either takes longer or not at all, right? So if you're really worried about it, you just stay in the high security and you're never going to have that issue, right? Or it's going to be really, it's going to be really minimized. So you don't have to pay for it. But if you pay for it, think of it this way. As soon as you go to medium security space and you pay someone to escort you, you're making more money because you're in medium space. So therefore you can afford to pay someone. And then if you afford to pay someone, once you get to know them over time, make a friend, that's why they're doing it. Because they want you to encourage you to play with other people, and it all becomes a part of the social experience, the player experience. And then all of a sudden you might not just be in a prospector mining anymore. All of a sudden you're in a mole. And then you're in an Orion. And then you're in low security space with an entire fleet and armada protecting you. That's why it's done this way, to encourage you to move up. It's all a part of it. But again, anytime you choose, you can go back to high security space and just be you in your prospector and don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Sergeant Blaster, that's incorrect. I play with about 25 players and we already do it. So, and there's heaps of us that already do it. He said that escort gameplay is never going to work out. We already do it.
So this is
everyone does it.
This is the other part.
Just because you don't do it doesn't mean that the rest of the community isn't already engaging in what is one of the most rewarding gameplay loops. For example, when we were doing Partilium runs, sorry to cut you off, X. When we were doing Partilium runs, we'd put the message out and say, hey, guys, no, I'm not in an org as well. Just to be clear, I am not in an org. I'm not registered with the org. I do not play with an org and I never will. But when people were doing Partilium runs, I'd put out the call. Does anyone need assistants, and we'd set up at Saccharin's, and we'd all get together. Someone would pay us 40k, usually 40k to 80k, and we'd keep them safe for us.
I think it's really important for me to inject and talk about what I need to talk about now, because the other part of this is people not knowing the design systems that have been talked about, because they haven't been talked about in so long. So we've got things like, because he's saying like all play is different from hiring someone random as an escort, because he's going, I think he's trying to say there's a trust issue.
It's paranoid.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's going to be a player rating system. That's not in yet, right? So you're not going to hire someone that's rank 1 star because they're really low trustworthy. You're going to try and get someone that's higher, you know, and basically the higher they are in trustworthiness, you're going to, or high rank star, they're going to expect more money too. So it goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword. So there's just all these systems they haven't talked about. But if you go back and you combine them all together, or the ones that they've talked about ever since the beginning, you can see this system in its entirety. But that, kind of like what you said earlier today, with how they're intending to bring in the different ships in pieces, the game itself is coming in pieces. We just got engineering, but we don't have all of engineering, you know, crafting, base building. You cannot just have it all turn on at one go. It just doesn't work that way. It's got to come in pieces.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who are paranoid or concerned about griefers, or they've had one bad experience and they've let it make their whole gaming experience be about that one time that, and like I said, I've talked before about how I've seen players that aren't even able to differentiate between what's an AI and what's a player. And I've seen that very regularly as well.
I think it's totally fine to be concerned, but I think the other side of the coin, and maybe this is the first time some of these people have even heard what we're saying, right? But the other part of it, and it's really hard to do because it's not documented. We even go to look to find this shit, right? So you know, and you'll get certain content creators that come along and they don't know it exists. How many things have you learned from me in our grid that you didn't know exists, and vice versa, I from you, right? And the same thing to anyone that we talk to, right? Like, especially if someone's come along later, there's, you know, might have been 5 years of stuff before they even got here. It's that type of thing. So imagine what this is going to be like next year with all the new people turning up for Squadron. They're not going to understand Star System at all. They're going to hate it because they do, and people tend to hate things they don't understand, right? So unless they can, I think that's one of the reasons they went out at CitizenCon not last year, but the year before now, the one that was in the UK, and they tried to bring everything. Look, when me and Alga were sitting there in the crowd, we went, oh, we know all of this, but it's literally re-summarizing it all. And they talked about 1.0 because it brought everyone back up to the same level page. Well, that's what they were trying to do, right? So, you know, it's a hard thing to do because, again, anyone that wasn't there now a year and a half ago, they're out of date. Same thing as I was saying with the tutorial. Like, as soon as everyone just moves on, so they do these whole CitizenCon presentations that take like 8 hours. They need to kind of do that and edit it right down to like a 5-minute video, and then and have that there, and don't call it something stupid, right? Put a proper name on it, right? Don't, you know, I'm sorry, Disco, but that's why no one can find anything. But put a decent name on it so people can find it, and it basically just it's like a bring up to speed video, you know, just and they know what's going on. And then, you know, I said to Sandy way back in the beginning, I said, you guys need to build or make something that you then hand over to the community, almost like a community wiki, where it was like every question that's ever been asked and answered. Can you imagine how useful that would have been now? I this is back in 2014. I didn't know there was going to be another 11, 12 years in front of it. But if you put that there, and I could just type in engineering, and it brought up every question about engineering, and then I could cross-reference it with other tags. So I could go engineering, spirit, C1. You get where I'm going, right? So like,
so
it would just
what you're
remove all
talking
these
about
problems.
Essentially is an encyclopedia.
Essentially.
All of these questions about where the game is going shouldn't matter once the game's out. Like once it's got the release.
It won't. But but up until now, because there's too much. Like me and Aga have been saying for years, there is too much for me and Aga to hold in our heads now. We one of the reasons we did it together was because we could learn more, and we kept each other in check all the time, right? Like if I forgot something, he'd remind me, and vice versa. Oh, the Real Chapel TV is rating party 14. And let's see, Real Chapel, Real Chappy. Is that Chappy like from the, the robot, the Chappy?
Did you talk about the South African robot?
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And he did the.
Who was it? It was Neil Blomkamp that did that, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it was it's a great movie. I just found a bit personality of the robot a little weird, but yeah, I don't know what it was going for. So yeah, nice to see it, Shabby. But I don't know. That's what I thought when I saw it. It was just the robot. I always remember the robot doing this. Like he'd always go, yeah. Anyway. So yeah. But yeah, it's just a knowledge thing, and I've seen it with content creators. Even myself will forget things. It's just too much, right? So me and Argrid, after we talked about it, we went from this approach of trying to retain everything to just finding the truth, right? And even now, someone will come in and go, "You're wrong, Execute, blah blah blah." And I think you were here last episode, and I said, "Fine, we'll go in game," and we just went in game and looked at the poll. Do you remember that? That's my approach now, right? If someone tells me I'm wrong, I'm not going to fight them on it. Let's just go find the truth. And I think that's where we need to move towards, not the you're wrong, I'm right type of winning the argument analogy. It's like, okay, let's go check this.
Yeah, let's go
learn together. And the more of us that have the knowledge, the better off as a community we'll move forward. It's just that simple.
For sure.
It's not a fighting thing.
And
it's not picking on the new guy and telling him he's wrong. It's helping the new person. But by the same token, you've got to be willing to learn.
That's the important part too. Yeah. You said a really, really important part, which is community.
Yeah.
This is a multiplayer game. If you're playing this game, you're choosing to play a multiplayer game. That will forever be a multiplayer game where you're gonna have to interact with players in some manner or another. Let's take PvP aside from it. As a cargo hauler, you're gonna have to be collecting your cargo from somewhere. Someone's gonna be selling it somewhere, and that's gonna be affected by the economy of miners, and it's gonna be affected by the economy of salvages, and it's gonna be affected. So we have to understand that we are a community, and rather than bringing all that hostility together. There's always going to be hostility in this community because there are pirates. I know I hunt them all day, every day. I deal with them. There's griefers, and remember there is a big line between griefing and pirating. Pirating serves a purpose. I'm not a pirate. I don't do it, but I will say pirating serves a purpose. Griefing is just being a dickhead. All right, we can all agree that griefers are dickheads.
And griefing is a part of the problem because those mechanics are not in place to take care of them. And I think you would also agree with this statement too. If someone comes out in general and says, "I'm being griefed," you'll probably find there'll be a few people that turn up to assist.
We go to their aid. That's what we do. If someone's saying I'm being griefed, we go and clear them all out. There's an org. Again, I'm not in an org, but there is an org. I just want to give them a shout out because they're an Aussie org that rocks. That goes by the name of FSS. If you're in, I know you've got a huge Australian viewership. If you're in Australia and you get into any trouble at all, be you in Stanton, be you in Nick, be you in Pyro, just write into global chat, is anyone from FSS? FSS there. They will mobilize within 5 or 10 minutes, and they will organize and be there with a strike force. We're talking fully manned Idrises, not solo Idrises, and fighter squadrons to clear out OMs if you find griefers at OMs, to clear out landing zones. They mobilize and they do it quick. They are essentially the security force of the SEA and Asian servers at the moment. So
and that's the gameplay for them. That is the gameplay for them. They like taking on those griefers and teaching them a lesson. It's like a justice thing, and you can tell those people are definitely going to be escort people and bounty hunters and all that type of thing.
Well, I reach out to them. I'll be doing PvP at the executive hangars in Pyro, which is this like high intensity PvP zone where you only need to bring somewhere between 1 and 5 to have some fun. And we'll be there, and someone will show up in a capital ship, and the very first thing I'll do is write into global. Any of the boys from FSS around, and then one will reach. It'll be Ants or Bavar or Kato will be like, "Yep, we're here. What do you need?" We say, "We got a Polaris." And next thing you know, there's a Idris warping into the exec hangars with a full fighter squadron, and that Polaris turns tail and runs straight away. It's heaps of fun. Yeah.
The Real Misfits in YouTube chat says games like SC draw cheaters like shit to a fly. And I don't disagree,
For sure.
because it's a game that is in development, and it's that priority order thing again. If they've got to stop to fix it so cheaters can't cheat, they can't get to the end goal. So they've got to get, once we get to that end goal, and I think that's really the last foundational pillar will be dynamic server meshing, and I think then things will start to fill out. But yeah, cheaters are always going to be a problem until the game is really solidified.
I think ultimately one thing that would really satisfy quite a lot of players, and I could see a world where we do. I don't think that you'll ever get private servers or offline to like hide from PvP, but I think you could have a system that realistically had PvP turned off for people to hide in. That was just like completely turned off. So say a system like Stanton that's
at least until it's initially implemented.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, that's probably an interesting time to read that first time chatters, because that's. Can you see that over on Twitch? I'm putting on my screen over here so he can see it. But can you?
If you make PvP 100% optional instead of, it was Hezikla.
That's why I got him to read the name, because it was impossible to read the name. Right. Yeah.
If you make PvP 100% optional instead of a spectrum of risk where each player can decide for themselves how much risk they want, you'll have very likely damage to the economy and industrial gameplay, and likely in a big way. PvE industrial gameplay will rely on PvP. Agreed. Yeah. So I think this is why I think that in this game, for its economy to work, you've got to have that PvP interactivity. But there's no harm in having a sector that is.
That's why they're doing the security zones. That's what I was going to say. You get your player choice there, because you either get, a very low but stable income, a medium income but more risk, or insane risk but insane reward. And that's perfect, because it's got it. You can be as you progressively get better, can't you then just go into low security space? Or if you feel that you're never up to the task, well, just never go there. Just that simple. It's got the freedom there. That's your difficulty slider, choosing where you go.
We're already seeing shapes for that.
If I am a pirate and I come all the way into your high security and I kill you, the chances are I ain't getting out of there. So I'm risking a shit ton to try and get that off you. Because I'd also have to bring something really I'd probably have to bring a capital ship to take you on. But as soon as I'm in there and they detect me, they're going to rock up with an entire fleet. So it's a massive risk for someone to try and come in. They really want to kill you. They come in and they really want to kill you, they're probably going to kill themselves. Yeah. I
want to continue this thought, but I just wanted to point out you've had a couple of subs, and I just wanted to let you know, we're yapping away. Demon Wolf gave you a sub, and there was someone a bit further up too.
There was some bits from Arcane Danger and Dafty Digits.
Demon Wolf subbed.
And I'm not good at following this stuff. Sorry.
A little bit further up, it was Demon Wolf, and then there was Bo Deadly.
Yeah, Bo Deadly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the subs and bits. I apologize. I'm not good at following the flashy graphics. There was some kind of purple thing that came up there for a minute on the top of the screen. I don't know what that was.
Just wanted to let I know you guys love
something like that.
Love the guys and girls who support you guys all the time. I hear Algorithm normally what gives it for you. So
never expected, always appreciated is what we're saying. So.
Yeah. But yeah, what I wanted to say is we've already got examples of that gradient. So I was just talking about how exec hangars, if you win an exec hangar, you get a spaceship permanently that has A tier stealth or military components and a hangar filled with the best loot in the game, components, guns, armor. So you get that if you do get your hands on it. So that right now is your risky gameplay to get your hands on that. There is on the other side the zero risk gameplay that is also giving huge rewards. QV stations, I think they're called. I don't play them because they're pretty boring for me, but they are literal zero risk. There's no chance that you're going to die at all. You kill a couple of ships on the outside, you shoot a couple of guys inside, and then you get a hangar that is filled with immense loot. So there is that gradient going from like the riskier stuff rewarding people who are involved with combat with like ships and ship components and that sort of thing, where meanwhile you've got QV people who aren't engaged with any combat being able to do a non-combat thing and get a bunch of loot out of a hangar. So
Parker XGS says death isn't a real cost. Not yet, it's not.
Not now.
Not now. But not only the death of you, but what about the death of your ship? Like, do you think the timers are really going to be like 1 hour for a Polaris? Nah.
It's 18 minutes right now. It's 18 minutes.
Whatever it is, man, that's gone way up. Way up, right? So again, let's talk about that scenario I had where you go into a high security space. If you want to go in and take them out fairly quickly, you're going to have to want to go with a bigger ship, so you're easier to find. It also means you're going to have to take more people with you, and therefore when you lose it, you're going to lose more because it's going to take longer to come back. So I don't think you're going to see many single seat fighter pilots or pirates fly from, I don't know, Pyro to Stanton to take someone out in a high security area, because the risk to get there, think about that. You got to go through Pyro, through the jump point, all the way across Stanton to get to a potential target that's around one of the major planets like Crusader or Hurston. And then as soon as they detect you, because you're a criminal, they're probably going to send security forces. So you're on a 5-minute timer as soon as you get there. Like, how much are you going to kill someone and get loot out of them in 5 minutes? And then you got to go all the way back, dragging the loot with you, being hunted the whole way you go. That's a massive risk. Massive risk. Like, start to connect all these dots together, and you quickly see it's a massive deterrent. They're trying to deter you. You can do it, but it's like in those games where, you know, you pull out your gun and you shoot someone in the head, and instantly they just all turn on you and kill you. Right? You can do it. You can do it, but you're gonna die. You know,
for sure.
Look at what it's like at the moment with guards in Hurston or Crusader. If you shoot someone, they all just start shooting you, and they really stuff you up fairly quickly. That's what we're talking about. Like, yeah, you can technically get past the guards, but it's really hard, and generally you don't make it.
Yep, and then the cost should also be very, very high.
And it usually costs you more than you gain, so you don't bother.
I've talked about this lots on my stream. I think that those wait times should extend further than just the Polaris. I think fighters. I'm on the extreme end, and I won't say the numbers that I would like because I often upsets even people on my stream. But I would like to see very, 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 very long wait times on ships. So fighters should be days. Grow it out from there.
Balance is clearly going to be the bigger the ship becomes, the longer it takes. And the reason for that is quite simply, like, if you have a starter ship, you don't, you know, maybe it takes 2 minutes, right? Like it does right now, because you don't want that person sitting around with nothing to do. And if that's the only ship they own, then you've got to be able to get it back. Yeah, you need to get it on it. But I almost think it needs to be tied to how many ships you own. That's what I think it needs to be. Because if you have 16 fighters, and they look at it and go, oh, you're waiting for a fighter, but we know you've got 16 others or 15 others, then the time should go up. Because it encourages you to not just use another ship that you own, but it also, you get where I'm going. And they should tie it into the insurance system. So the insurance people won't fill it as quick because they know you've got other things to use.
There should be like one ship that can't be capital, because capital is not a starter ship. There should be one ship that you can like designate as your like account ship that comes back very, very quickly. So let's say you've got an F7 or an F8 or an Arrow or something like this. Like, that's your account ship. It's a 3, 4, 5 minute wait on something like that. Maybe it just reduces the percentage.
Or maybe you just pay a bigger insurance premium because they've talked about the different levels of insurance, right? And they've talked about how you can insure absolutely everything on the ship and its cargo, but not the contents. An empty ship, right? So again, if you could make it another one where if you just pay the utter absolute premium on that one ship, it comes back like that, or within 2 minutes or whatever, right? So there's mechanisms in the game to work, but again, all cart before the horse. And that's something you'll hear me say a lot, is cart before the horse, because we're just in that state, aren't we?
Well, we're playing an alpha game, so that alpha game by its nature is cart before the horse. That's what it is. So. But yeah, I'm hoping to see extended gameplay times. There's nothing, you've heard me whinge about this a bunch, but there's nothing worse than when you blow up someone's Mercury Star Runner and then they're back with it in 6 minutes, or you blow up someone's Constellation and they're back with it in 8 minutes, or you blow up someone's capital ship and they're back with it in 18 minutes. Like, these timers aren't realistic, and there's no cost to it as well. So, but that's something they'll change in the future. Right now, people point out to me that right now the game's so so buggy that you'd often lose those ships. And if there was a week-long timer cooldown on a capital and you lost it to it being stuck in the elevator or something, that would be a problem. So I get it, but for now,
thank you for the Prime subscription. Another one. Yeah. And we are halfway through the show, over halfway through the show. Haven't even done a question yet. We normally go straight into questions, but we've actually only got like 6 questions. The bot's still running, so if you do have a question that you'd like me or Bops to look at, feel free to just put question in your question, and it'll come through to us, and we'll start going through some of those. And see where we're up to.
Again,
Actually,
just to clarify, so I don't get criticized of being a light fighter guy, because I'm not a light fighter guy. I do spend time in fighters, but I spend time in everything from capitals down to race ships. I do a lot of racing as well. Just to clarify, I want all ships times to go up. Fighters, I want fighters to be literally days cooldown on fighters, but I'm never going to get that. So
you never have to justify the gameplay that you want to other people. Like you just say what you want.
Well,
it's your opinion.
Yeah, I like all the gameplay though, and I don't want to be boxed in. Yeah, the only thing I don't like is
you're worried about how other people are going to perceive you, and you'll soon learn. No one gives a shit. Just play the game how you want to play it and move along. That's just how I do it. And if other people are giving you, Jay, you made it on the internet, Bobs, when you're getting shit, right? I went on Space Tomatoes podcast, and all the comments were very low number of votes, but all the comments were just from people that were negative. There was no positive comments because people that have positive comments don't bitch. Comment sections are they should be called the bitching section, because that's kind of, well, not all of them. Some of them are constructive, right? But a lot of the comments are just people bitching, especially when they're talking about you directly, and they'll never talk about. They'll always attack your character. That's what people are like. They go for the low blow because they've got no argument. So instead of arguing with you, they attack your character. So that's if they're calling you a dickhead, you know that they don't have any leg to stand on, because they otherwise they'll be attacking your argument. It's just that simple. Right. Anyway, right. Parker.
What's your questions?
Yeah. First one here. Parker GPS says, I think we may get more ships with flaws if concepts aren't sold first with no feedback. Yep. And that is a worry of mine as well. I think you would agree with that, Bob.
Yeah. I think that well, they're not doing concepts anymore. They've said that. So the plan now is to announce a ship when it's ready. Yeah. So I think hopefully they'll be announcing those ships for gameplay loops that have already been completed. So we don't end up like the situation we have right now with crafting, where we've got all these ships ready to go, but crafting's just not ready to be pushed out. So
there is an episode currently scheduled for 10 days from now. I'll just show you here. That is my response. It's called All My Fault. There are no more concepts. And I did that with Paul. And that is literally about this entire subject. Because and I think it is partially my fault, and you'll understand when you watch the episode. Yeah, so that's mine and Paul's response to it, and it we'll see. But yeah, I don't want to give anything away because it was a fun episode, and it was it was Paul's idea. Paul's like, I've got this great idea for an episode, and it's all your fault. And I went, what the fuck? Why is it my fault? And then he told me, yeah, and but it is. I don't want to say anything. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Leave it. I'm keen to see it. I'm keen to see it.
Yeah. But it is very clear. Paul loves his clickbaity titles. Like, he's really good at them too. But it's not clickbait because it is true. It is potentially or partially my fault, and you'll see when you see the episode. But yeah, that explains to me why we're not getting concepts in that episode anymore, and there's multiple reasons for it. Yeah, it's about time too, I think. My only concern is like what Parker said. I don't want another Star Lancer.
Yeah.
And I think
there's a few. There's a few, right? Not just the Star Lancer.
Yeah, but there's that positive aspect too. I heard from Ben where he's like, oh, well, if I'd listened to people, the Polaris would have turned out like the Perseus. But now you can see they're going to go back and gold, when they eventually gold past the Polaris. And also you can already go back to the Polaris right now, and a lot of the signs on the door
it's
are
looking
there.
so much better.
It just doesn't have the individual room signs. So it's got like 90% of what's on the purse is already put into the Polaris. It's just the individual rooms.
Looking so much nicer. So much nicer already.
So again, like we said, almost come full circle now. When you go back to those original, you know, you go to people, you know, you're doing a mining ship, go talk to some geologists and some miners. You're going to get that real feedback and make those ships more tangible, and more realistic. And if they're now learning that, it's taken a really long time to drill that in, but now they're seeing those benefits. Yeah, it's not about getting feedback from everyone. I do want to make that really clear. It's about getting feedback or opinions and all that from people that are in the know. I wouldn't go ask a bunch of military people about science ship, right? It's targeted demographic, or target, not even demographic, targeted people in the know. What'd you call that? Is that what? Oh, I don't know.
Is it specialists?
Yeah. Well, on what do we call
like
it?
subject matter experts, SMEs, subject matter experts.
What do we call it here? We did have a name for them. I think we just call them professionals. What we call them here. And they're people that are basically professionals in their field. So we've got medical people, military people, you know, as I said, scientists, geologists. There was even one guy that was a surgeon, and he was here for a while, but then he left. So, you know, things like that. But he left because he had too much work on. And people were asking him a bunch of questions. Yes, subject matter experts. That's it. Essay's got it in one. Subject matter experts.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
Oh, sorry. You were reading from what Essay said, or you?
No. I said it before you put it there.
Oh, okay.
You didn't listen to me. You were wrapped up.
He even said "damn you, Bob." So yeah, he's a knowledge.
Yeah.
You got it right. Nerds, they call them nerds. But yeah. I think most people here understand it. Like they know, like it's cool to get feedback from the generalists, but like again, I don't think I need to give feedback on something that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I think we all need to accept that.
I've said the only gameplay content that I really don't engage with is mining, and I never comment on it. People will come to my stream and ask me about it, and I will consistently say I don't mine. I'm not a miner. I hope that gameplay loop is developed and is amazing for the people who are engaged with it, but I'm not going to comment on it because I don't engage with it, right? Why should CIG or anyone care about my opinion if I'm not engaged in the act of mining?
Well, I also think people like ourselves are in that content creator space. We're going to have rounded edges, and what I mean by that is we'll be a bit more jack of all trades, because we associate, like, you might be more PvP focused because of what you enjoy, but because you interact with me and Agra, for example, you'll get pulled a little bit towards us. Do you know what I mean? So you won't. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So I've always considered myself as a jack of all trades. So if they wanted to ask me something, it would have to be really general. Right? Like,
but that's what we. And that's what we do on the stream too. Is we engage with all the content we can, as much as we can, because it helps you better understand where the game's direction is going as well.
Absolutely.
Like if you box yourself into just PvPing or just cargo running or just salvaging or just first person combat, like you lose what else. There's guys who come to my stream where I've played with, who have played for years, and they go, I have no idea that X was even here, like that you could even do this in the game, because they've spent their whole.
I get that a lot. Mainly when I'm in the female locker room. No, just kidding. Sorry, bad joke. That's an old joke from my my stand-up comedy days. Didn't know X was here. Yeah. Because they call me X. You said X. Anyway.
All right, next question.
Yeah.
Next question.
All right. You can read these too, by the way, if you want. They're in the question stream questions channel. So it's Colby Navarro 4747 says, if 4.6 is on the roadmap, leads to 1.0 afterwards, should we be concerned about completing our CCU change sooner rather than later? This question's been coming up a lot recently. And like other things, they've always said they will notify us. So don't worry about it. They'll notify us. And when they make us finally close down CCUs, again, this is all speculatory, but like, again, a lot of the stuff when we think their stuff in a group, it makes so much sense. If you were going to lock everything down and people had all these credits and you had one last chance for big money, wouldn't you just open everything up? You just open everything, let people get almost not every ship, but almost everything that they wanted, right? So they were all happy, and because you're never going to do it again.
Yeah. Well,
so they'll probably have some big shebang.
They've set the precedent of doing that in the past. Look what they did with the Hornets, right?
Yeah.
When they went to the Mark IIs, they said Mark I's are no longer being worked on. Now's the chance to buy them, buy all of them, as many as you want of them, because we're not going to be selling them anymore.
Yep.
And so they've already set that precedent. I'm sure they'll do the same thing.
So they probably. I don't know what the limitation is going to be. It's probably going to be legally, so they're probably not going to be able to sell you as many javelins or Idrises that you want, right? Because there's a once you go over $1,000, it's considered money laundering in the States, so you can't have an unlimited amount, right? So they're probably still going to stay limited, but pretty much anything that's under $1,000, free reign. So they might. I'm not saying they're going to sell scythes, right? But they're probably going to sell pretty much everything. So like anything that's limited, like Hull E's or whatever, the Hull E's probably looking to go over $1,000 eventually. So yeah, you get my point though, right? Yep. You're going to be able to shuffle your stuff around and be a lot more happy with it than you are now.
Don't stress that it's going to slip. Yeah. Slip by you.
Yeah. And I think it's Colby. The type of thing where they'll be saying in 12 months time. I think they'd give us almost that much notice. You're going to need that much notice to pull it off. Varen says, do you still think Squadron 42 is coming in 2026? There's been no announcement, no marketing, etc. We did kind of talk about this one a little earlier.
We touched on it a bit.
And again,
I think the long. You go.
I was just say, look at the episode me and Paul and Algrid did. That would be what I'd be pointing to.
Long and short of it is, as long as there's no cataclysmic. That they seem to be pushing and aiming for 2026. CitizenCon is likely. Maybe it gets delayed a little bit, but I think I said at the start of this episode, I don't think we're in the every 2 years loop that we were in, where it's coming in 2 years for every 2 years. I think it is coming. I just don't. It'll be either in 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, basically at this point.
So that was this week's episode. That's literally what we talked about. So if you want the answers to that, it's all in that episode. Quite a long one actually. Went for about an hour, I think. About an hour. But that should answer that question if you want. Does answers.
Okay.
Right.
Next one.
Spike. Next. He says, when is the big wipe coming? Hopefully soon.
I can take this one. This one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
They basically said that it was again, we've been talking about CIG communicating, and this is a perfect example of them communicating. Everyone has been begging for this wipe, wondering when it's coming. One of the guys, I can't remember which guy it was, one of the guys from CIG came out and said he wants to see the wipe come through. They all want to see the wipe come through, but they have to close the issues first. So they said a full wipe is coming. Which for anyone who's never experienced a wipe, don't worry, you're not going to lose anything you paid real money for or anything that's been attributed to you. But they will wipe your money and leave you with a 25k or whatever your money is. They will wipe all the ships that you've bought in game and all the things that you've bought in game. They just need to close the loops that are making people billionaires. Like I said, I'm a billionaire and I'm not even a cargo runner or a miner. I'm a PvPers and PvEers are always quite poor. We're the poor ones in the universe, but even I'm over $1 billion at the moment. So there are loops that are in the game right now that are very, very exploitable. They need to close those off and then they'll wipe them. The CIG guy also said it's sort of unfair to wipe and then have to wipe again. Some people have families and kids and stuff like this, and they only get their hour or so to play at the end of their day. They want to make sure that they only wipe once rather than wiping and then John, with his hour break from his kids in the evening, spends a month playing to get another spaceship, and then they have to wipe again. So they want to do one wipe once they've closed the loops, and they said they're trying to get it out as soon as they can. But again, how long is a piece of string? Could be a month, could be 3, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Lentz says, with crafting oncoming, English not his first language, maybe. How do you see CIG developing the farming and livestock chain in the game? how do you envisage what it is, what it should be compared to how CIG has previously discussed? They've never really extensively discussed it. And we've only got pieces that we can connect together, right? So basically, if you kind of think about plants are probably the simplest version of farming because they don't move, they don't require any AI, and you just basically have different states. You know how you have like pod states or level of detail, right? It's essentially that, but just over time because they're growing, right? That's fairly easy to do, right? When you go to an animal, now if you make it a single animal, that can probably have a cleverer AI. So if you have like a heroic animal, like the Yeti thing that's on Microtech, right? That's probably going to be a one-off, because it was genetically engineered, so it's probably going to be a one-off, right? That's a lot easier to do. But then you do say something like a herd of farm animals or a herd of gazelle, you then need herd AI, right? And that is something we don't have right now. But could you also use herd AI in a city for humans moving through the city?
Well, interesting you say that we don't have herd AI, because something I've been spotting around Pyro, now I'm sure it's in Stanton, but I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's there though, is quasi-grazers getting around in herds.
But how many people are in the herd? It's the most I've seen is about 10.
Yeah,
right?
about 10. Yeah, so
I'm talking like I'm
scale.
talking like multiple hundreds, right?
Mm.
Like when you see that footage, you see them in Australia, you see the footage when they're the big cow rustling in the States where they got the helicopter coming down and there's like 300 to 500 cattle, that type of analogy. Like that's the type of farming that some people are going to want to do. Now you can do that. It's just that you've got to obviously build the AI before you can do that, right? So I think farming is going to come in pieces, what I'm trying to say. And I've explained the 3 pieces. I think you'll get crops, then kind of like one-off special animals, like maybe a bull or, or some kind of, the quasi-grazers have got those little eggs, right? So you can, and then do you go further and it goes into like, do you have to have a factory machine that's a special machine that removes the eggs? Or you see where I'm going, right? So you can build it in pieces.
Do those quasi-grazers come from eggs? Do we get incubators? Can I get incubators to make more quasi-grazers? I'm excited about this because a lot of that supply like gameplay, I'm not really interested in, so I don't want to do crafting or base building.
That's the other thing. We know organics.
Have my home on the
organics is completely the other side of the chain of crafting. Right now, we've got like solid objects and refining materials, but we also know that you're going to be like certain animals that are going to be turned into glue and cooking and all that. So the organics cook everything from cooking to science and all that. You've got all these materials on one side, but there's all these materials on the other, just like in real life, and they all intertwine in all this different gameplay. You can't tell me you can't look at you could almost pick anything and you can see where it came from ores and you can see where it came from organics. Like, let's pick a bandage. The woven material of the bandage is from a space sheep or whatever, right? But then you've got the goo on it. Well, that comes from probably another animal, but it's mixed with some synthetic pieces that also come from ore. And also maybe there's a wire frame in the bandage that's some kind of special brace, and that comes from you see where I'm going, right? You can start to tie even the medical bed may be made out of metal pieces that are required, or even wood. We haven't even got into that. So if you've got wood and metal, there's your organic, and there's your
I just want to.
System. We're in our infancy.
Something happened to me recently in Star Citizen. I was walking through Saccharins on Pyro 4, and I saw that there is a model for a sombrero. Now, there is not a sombrero that I can actually wear in the game, which is absolutely heartbreaking. And all I can picture myself now is sitting on a porch on a little stool with my sombrero, looking at my quasi-grazers on my little farm somewhere on bloom, getting ready to chase off space cattle ranchers, and that's all I want more than anything else in the entire game is to walk my quasi grazers along bloom with my little sombrero on and my little space shotgun, waiting for waiting.
You
want
to do the bandito?
Yeah.
Goddamn cow rustlers.
Yeah, man with no name. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This poor Pete's on Twitch. You should get in here, Pete, and have a talk with us.
Yeah, feel free to come up.
Come and have a yap. You want? He won't because he's scared of cat. But that's just how he is. He always thinks he's got nothing to contribute, and then he contributes shitloads. It happens every single time. I just woke up. That sounds like, well, that means nothing to us, Pete. We're never going to see. You could be in your underpants. We're never going to see your face. So yeah. You're probably more
in a stream, you never see his face anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. For good reason. No. All right. Aaron Lentz 5002 says, with crafting. Oh no, that was the one we just did. My bad. Demon Wolf. Wait, hang on. Picking the wrong one. Demon Wolf says, when do you think we will see the hull A, B, raft, and Raylan price jumps that were announced at AIE? Well, it'll clearly be by Invictus.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep.
Or whenever those ships are sold again, because they literally said this is the last time. So if they do a special event where the raft is sold, right there.
I think you can even shrink it further. X, maybe you disagree with me, but it's when the hull B drops.
The whole B, yes, but it's whenever they're sold next. It's just that obvious because that's what they said. This is the last time they'll be available. But like if the Raylan comes out after the whole B, therefore the Raylan's prices are going to jump because it won't be available to buy again until whenever they're sold. Next.
And vice versa if the Raylan comes before the hull B or whatever. Yeah, good point.
Okay.
Point is buy now. Buy if you're gonna buy out of the game, buy now. Yeah, especially that Raylan.
I think I picked 3 to 5 of each of them up, of the whole B and the Raylan. I didn't really bother about the raft or I probably should have got a couple for the raft, but I didn't bother. And I didn't get any for the whole A. I don't think the whole A is going to jump significantly in price because you look at it already. I think for me, the Golem's already better than the whole A in function right now. And the only thing that the whole A offers above that's a positive is the bed in the kitchen. But I don't see the benefit of that yet. Like, how much is the cost of going to sleep going to cost you?
Can you tell me, I don't know how familiar you are with the hull A. Does the A2's bomb fit on the racks of the hull A?
Never tried.
Okay, because the Golem has been critical in us deploying high explosives. It can get its emissions down as low as most stealth ships.
What, so you're putting bombs on the bottom of it, and then just turning off? That's hilarious. Yeah. I don't think it'll probably work exactly like that. Otherwise, it would be too effective. But that's funny.
No. So you can't drop them. Yeah. But if you shoot bombs, they go off. So you can use them if you're skilled. We'll have our beef whip by and drop the A2 off of his Golem while one of our fighters shoots the bomb. Baboom.
How do you drop the bomb? Or do you just use a tractor beam and hit it with the tractor beam and it drops it?
Yeah, you just hit it with a tractor beam and it drops.
Oh wow! So he's just quickly switching to the turret, tapping it, and then going straight back and flying. Oh wow! Okay. Yeah, they'll do something to fix that. I'm sure. They'll make it so that like the bomb can't activate, or they'll make it so the bomb.
They'll make it so they're not armed or whatever. But right now you can just shoot them.
Gravity generators set them off or something like that. Or they'll do something to fix that. That's a cut or the horse problem again. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, again, I would have to assume if the Golem can do it, that the whole A can do it. Yeah. But again, as I said, it's only like. The only positive I can see is the cost of not having to pay to stay when you log out of a night. But they've also said that you don't you have to sleep as a part of the gameplay mechanics. Yeah. But like, how much is that going to cost and how much over time? And if you've got a Golem and you've got any other ship that's got a bed, can't you just log out in that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got a hangar, they've even talked about allowing you to sleep in your hangar. So you see what I mean? Like, there's just more and more reasons why it just doesn't add up. You've still got to buy food. So what's the and that those two ships, the Golem and the Hull A, are really designed for planet to surface cargo delivery. So do you really need a bed and a kitchen on a ship that's just going station planet, station planet, station planet? You're so close to it anyway. Yeah, so I just don't see it. There's obviously something that I'm not seeing there, but I just can't see the disconnect.
Yeah, I think we need to see vaster expanses right now. Like, there's no real big jumps. Like the biggest jump in the game would probably be from Stanton Gateway in Pyro to Ruin. It's about 80 GM, something like this. And because there's so many places to stop for fuel and food and water along the journeys, like a lot of these ships, like your Hull A or even like your Corsair can be used for so much more. It's a great ship, but like it was sold as like the long distance exploration ship. There's no long distance yet, so it doesn't really. Like, it's still a great ship, but its purpose isn't there. And maybe once we see those longer distances, the Hull A will find more of a place in the game over something like a Golem, which just has its cockpit oxygen rather than a fully internalized oxygen. Another
cart before the horse problem.
Life support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I actually see more retractions on the Hull A because you can't put 16 SCU. You can only you can't put 32 SCU cargo containers on the Hull A. So again, I think it all balanced out. So I don't understand why they're increasing the price of the Hull. There's just something there that I'm missing. I don't know. Maybe it'll pop its head up in time. But the only thing I can get over is tech level. Is because one is a MISC, and I think MISC is meant to be more towards the high end of industrial, and Golem is clearly, well, Drake is clearly at the low end. It's almost like the Misfortune and the Vulture, but they're the same price. And clearly the Misfortune is lower down than the Vulture. But the tech levels put them on par at the same price. So that's the only thing I keep coming back to is tech level. And if they make it so that you can only operate certain ships in certain areas, which I'm starting to think may be a factor that they've never talked about, and if that happens to be a thing, but can you imagine there's a little bit of an uproar here, right? If this comes to pass, and I'm not saying it will, but it could be, right? So you remember when I talked about shop ships, how you have, like, say, an Origin and a Drake, and the Drake can have like the taco truck, but it can't have the high-end restaurant, but the Origin can have the high-end restaurant, but it can't have the taco truck. It could be the same thing where if you're working at certain stations, you have to have ship that fits the station. So if you're out in Pyro, they're probably may allow you to use a Hull A because it's just a thingo, right? So you get more flexibility because it's a Hull A, but the Golem, they'll only let you use the Golem out at Pyro. You can't come into Stanton because it's too low of a quality vehicle. They just won't let you use it there. And if they start to do stuff like that, that all of a sudden makes the Hull A more valuable because you can use it in more places.
Or there could be other things too, like even just like visuals to sort of move with your point. Visuals might be like make you a more or less of a target as well for like AI pirates or something. Maybe if you're in something that's like an 890, you're more likely to be pirated by AI comparative to something like a Shiv, which is less like.
It's actually in the other way. In the past, I've just remembered something as you said it, right?
Yeah, go for it.
They literally talked about if you have certain manufacturers of ships, you are more likely to get stopped and scanned. I remember that one now. So if you're in a Golem and you were traveling, you would be more likely to be stopped by security than you would be in a Hull A.
Yeah.
So there's another one.
You can do what we used to do to sneak into Splendor of the Grass with all of our alcohol. You pack all the boxes on the outside, which is your clothes and your bags and your tents, and then you pack all of your sneaky bits on the inside of it so that they can't actually see it. So there you go. Not that you should do that. I'm not encouraging anything. Inforunners does not at all. I do not at all represent Inforunners in that. Yeah.
I'll get in there. Don't worry. We should have a talk about that after the show, actually. Right. Next one. Lara says, do you think we'll get more modular capital ships?
We talked about this, not today, but last time I was on, we talked about the Idris, I think we were discussing, about how if there was a capital ship in the game now, of course there'll be more in the future, but now that would be great for like modularity. The Idris could be pretty easily adjusted to be more of a cargo-oriented ship, or it could be, you could like switch out the internal hangar. Kraken, Kraken.
With kits for a Kraken. We know the Javelin has... So instead of calling them modular, they're probably going to sell them as fixed ships. Again, I'd say a kit is more like a variant, and modular is like what the Javelin's going to have. I would probably bet a little bit of money on something like that happening with the battlecruiser.
I think the battlecruiser will be modular.
Well, if the Javelin's modular... Well, okay, I put it to you because it can go both ways. You reckon you're more likely to get
modular? Yeah,
it is. It's
Oh, really?
I can't remember the number of rooms. I think it was originally like 5 or 6. This is a question about Argrid because he owns it and he knows all the shit about it, right? Yeah. But I think they're talking about turning those number of rooms down to something more like 3 or something like that. And generally, what we've found with modular rooms is they tend to take something the ship already does and they extend it, right? And one of the rooms that is a bit different and outside that is that they talked about was an admiral's quarters. Because you've got the captain's quarters, but if you put Admiral Bishop on that and it becomes the flagship, where does he stay?
Yeah.
So an admiral's quarters, it's already got a massive cargo deck, so obviously you'd more cargo. But you know, it's carrying all these marines. Do you need more marines for the dropship? So do you know, and an armory and all that type of stuff. So you start to see what the ship already does. Can you add another hangar to it? Because there's a Redeemer size, Vanguard size hangar on it. Oh, and another one.
Yeah, for sure.
You see where it goes really quickly. So they're the type of things that we look at. So look what a ship already... The Carrack's a really great example, right? You can almost tell what the Carrack module is going to be because of what it already does.
Yeah.
So some kind of medical module that is like a little medical base you can drop off for humanitarian effort. Because you got to remember the ship is like the Enterprise. Humanitarian, go in, no man's gone before. Some kind of little... scout station for exploring and stuff, so it probably drops off and it has like the rover can go up to it and maybe even some minor repairs and stuff, or a little repair station because it does have the drones and stuff like that. So like a little repair station, again, humanitarian aid. You know, you drop off a medical station, a repair station, and you can go off and do stuff in space or somewhere else while they stay there and fix that stuff. Yeah, anything that ship already does.
Someone on YouTube just pointed this out, Parker. The Galaxy's coming, and that's really a modular ship. So that's probably when they'll might focus on it a little bit more to try and get it to work. Because we got it a little bit for the.
It's even earlier than that.
Redeemer.
It's the Apollo. The Apollo was the modular ship.
The Hermes. Yeah.
The Hermes is coming. But now they have that system working. They're going to do more of it. You know, we've got the command module coming. That's another. You know, you start to put modules in command. We're getting closer and closer to that Caterpillar. Right? Once you can do everything the Caterpillar can do, there is no reason you couldn't see more ships like the Caterpillar and the Endeavour. It just, the other side of that coin is their gameplay, right? And you look at the Caterpillar and the Galaxy, right? You can clearly tell that the Galaxy is the RSI version of the Caterpillar without even blinking. It is the same size. They've just gone, what are all the issues with the Caterpillar? Well, it's the funky doors that are also elevators, and the fact that it's got like 4 rooms and a nose module. It you know, it was before. It's a problem of its time. But if you redid the Caterpillar and just made it one large module that swapped over, which is essentially what the Galaxy is it not? Does that not fix all the problems other than the doors?
Yeah,
just saying.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. Again, I'll keep saying the same thing. Up for the horse, priority order, all that type of shit.
How long's a piece of string, etc.
The cliche at this point for a reason, right? Because it's a pattern. We just keep seeing the same patterns again and again and again. And they're not saying any different. They're telling us this. We're just, you know, everyone's focused on different parts of the game they enjoy, but we're hearing the same shit. So you start to apply that across the board, you could start to see it just becomes really obvious. And our grid's no different. He sees it as well. I'm sure he'd be here, you know, almost beating me over the head with it as well. So, all right.
Cool.
Infinity. Agrid, did you get a haircut? Did you grow a bunch of hair, Agrid?
Yeah. Yep.
Eat a hair growth spurt.
It was the cruise. The sun just made all this come through. Look at it, luscious ginger locks.
Come through, huh? Good choice of words. Right. Right. Spicy SC07 says, question. What Star System edition do we get if we already own it? I think they'll sell upgrades. Like, so if you've got like a standard edition of the game, you'll be able to get like the deluxe edition or whatever. I think that's probably what they're going to go for. I do think they will eventually do physical editions, but I think the physical editions will only be available on the RSI
I think
website.
Didn't they say recently? I might be imagining this. Maybe it was just something I read in my chat. I'm pretty sure they said that everyone who owns Squadron 42 already is just getting the base version of it, and then, like you said, they'll probably do a upgrade pack like they did with I feel like I remember reading that at some point.
Okay, time to educate Bobs. Right, this may take me a minute, but I will do it. Right, give me a second. I gotta go look for something here. We're going into.
Are you talking about the original versions of it that they sold? The Squadron one.
We're going deep. Hold on. Going deep. Gotta find it. Hang on. I got the mod on here too, so this is gonna change it all. Off. Man, it's getting. Last page, and I think it's like one of the last items. These are almost. Man, I'm just going to turn the mod off. Where is it?
Just tell me what you're looking for. What does it say? I'll take your word for it. You have to show me.
Well, it's not just for you. It's also for the audience. It's a settings. Attention. Turn off my hangout, refresh. I think it's important for people to know, and a lot of people don't know this. There it is. Rear Admiral LTI. What I wanted to show you, right? So this is a really insanely expensive pack now to buy. The last time I got it price checked, mind you, this was in 2016. I'm sure it's gone up since then. It was over $600. And all this contains, as you can see there, is a deluxe silver collector's box. And Argrid's actually got both of them. He's got the silver edition and the green edition. So physicalized boxes of this game are a thing. And if I try to Star Citizen box, sometimes this will come up, sometimes it won't. This, right? That Sandy even went as far as to get S1s made. Gonna load? No. Open. Right? So she even went as far as to get test ones made. That's how far along things got. Because the game was legitimately coming in 2016, 2017 before they kind of reset and expanded the ship. Right? And she went through and they did polls on what ship did they want on the cover. There was even a version that had all 4 ships from the vote on it, stuff like that. The staff went through and voted on the colors, so they had silver, a darker one, and a green one. Again, I don't think I can show all the photos here. Even if I go back, I don't think I can find the other ones. Oh, there's the one where they did the vote. Right, so this is where they were voting on A, B, C, and stuff like that. So this was the next step afterwards. So yeah, so this is all a real thing, right? So they've already announced, and there are already people with packages that have physicalized boxes, right? But I reckon what they're going to do to expand that and do extra money is distribution's a thing now, right? It costs money to distribute these to retail stores, right? So like your EB Games, your GameStop, your Game in the UK. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to sell them on the website. It's the cheapest way for them to do that, and then they can just ship them all out from the same place.
For sure. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll wait. We'll have to wait and see for them. Like I said, I think they'll do upgrades for those who already just own like the digital packs. Remember, you can buy it off the website. That's what I was talking about. So just like the guy.
So I reckon you'll probably get like the complete Masters bullshit edition, or as they said, the silver edition will probably be the top one, and the green one, and then probably a standard one. But you'll have physicalized editions, and then probably a digital online versions of those. So you'll probably get everything you get in the, say you get the silver digital edition, you'll probably get everything except the physical items, right?
Yep.
And
then it'll probably be the fact that you can, like with every other game, industry standard across every other video game, you can probably buy the silver pack or whatever at the store for $180 and then redeem your code to your account and upgrade your edition.
So. But this is why these are so nuts though, because you get a spaceship USB drive. By the way, the game comes on that. So whatever the size of the install is, that'll be on that USB stick. Fold up star maps, 5 spaceships, 3-inch model of a spaceship, hardback making of Star Citizen. That hasn't been made yet.
It doesn't have to be the game though. They just put the launcher on the USB drive. Here you go. Here's the launcher. Plug it in and away you go. Download the game.
But yeah, but no. Apparently they came out and said that the game will be on the USB stick, and even then,
there you go. They probably have to be patched immediately. Cool. Yeah. Cool. I probably have one of these floating around on my other account.
Well, the other
Can
thing
you gift this?
Yes, it is giftable, but I will not be doing so.
I've got an original backer account. I don't play on my original backer account, so I need to go over and grab my original backer stuff and gift it all over to my current account.
Yeah, but again, you got to remember this is Star Citizen. It's not Squadron, so we probably won't see physicalized editions until at least 1.0. Yeah. I think that's the other part of that I'd point out.
Cool. All right, next question.
I hope that answers your question. I see. Right, Thorn123400 says, do you think when Star Citizen comes out that CIG will have a Twitch drops when it comes out? Oh, absolutely. We've already been doing
that's Squadron. He said Squadrons though. So do you think they'll do?
Absolutely.
You think they'll do Squadron? So what are they dropping to your Star Citizen account?
Look. When I look at it, it'll probably just be some kind of redeemable code. Like they've already got the redeemable thing on the website, right? They're probably going to make it so that if you want to, you buy Star Citizen wherever you buy it, or sorry, Squadron wherever you buy it. But if you want additional stuff, they'll try to get you to make an account on the RSI website. Yep. And then, and then they've already got the thing on the website where you can redeem a code. It's literally. I go back over. Oh shit! I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. Yep, I hit the wrong button. There we go. To be completely open, I agree with you. I was just trying to get you to say what I was thinking. So yeah, I think they'll do exactly that. But, hey, you know how many times I've had to play dumb for Algrid? It goes on forever, right? Because Algrid won't play dumb, so I've got to be the one that plays dumb. But anyway, redeem a code right there. It's literally one of the main things, and you just go in and put it in. And again, I think that's half the reason why they've done these at the Citizen Cons, because it allowed them to test the feature. So now they can just email you can. Yeah, I've done it.
No, I was going to say I didn't know this existed, but I got to use this very recently, very recently.
But again, if they just email you a code, how many times do you buy a collector's edition item, whether it's physical or digital, and they email you a code? A lot. I've had it a lot. If you buy a serial number, you could actually, like, if they want to sell it digitally, they could sell them on third-party key websites, because we've seen that as well before. So you could literally make an account, come here and redeem the entire game if they wanted to.
They can skip this now too. Like, yeah. So Tarkov is a good example of, because they've been doing this the best, the Twitch drops, where you can get super rare stuff, or you can get literally a lump of coal, a nothingness. But they've already shown that they are able to attribute items directly to our inventories from Twitch drops, because that's how the Twitch drops worked, right? You linked your account to Twitch, and they attributed the armor that you got from watching directly into your inventory. So they may even be able to skip this whole code process and just send it straight to you, because they've already done it. So
That too.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
but they're gonna have both systems. They got to have a system for
Yeah.
people. You know, what if you're on a console?
Yep.
You know, what if you're doing completely physical and you don't use your email? You know, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you'd want to do so.
Cool.
All right. Citizen Ninja says, how much of a marketing boost do you think Squadron 42's all-star cast will give the sales and popularity? I'm pretty
enormous.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what the gala's about. The gala will be the release of Squadron. Yeah.
Yep. Having Luke Skywalker in your game is going to be a pretty big boon, especially if you're selling a sci-fi game. So I think it's going to be immense. Henry Cavill is at the peak of his career at the moment.
Henry Cavill was basically he didn't really take off until he was Superman. When he did this, he wasn't Superman. How long ago was it? It was 2014, 2015. You know?
Not to mention Rhys Davies.
When did Man of Steel come out?
Gary Oldman just got knighted, so
2013. Maybe he was Superman. Or he'd just been Superman. Came out 2013, so maybe he was at that point. My bad.
Yeah, it'll be huge.
But you know, it's got like, I think you look at the credits for it. There's like 30+ stars in it, type of thing. So like, it's gonna, you know, look at other games like how the Call of Duty franchise was received when it had 1 star. Like I think they had one with Kevin Spacey and the guy that plays Jon Snow, and they were the 2 most popular they've ever had because they had a celebrity in them. This has got way more. And yeah, I just can't see it not being popular from the story. Like, you've been watching someone play Dispatch. I've just finished Dispatch yesterday. How many people will enjoy just watching someone else play that? From a streamer perspective, go watch the trailer that goes for an hour and 15+ minutes. Like it's like a movie unto itself. People are gonna watch streamers play this game. I have no doubt, from beginning to end. You know.
I don't know if you know much about Doom, but I'm a big Doom speedrunner / one life playthrougher. I love Doom. I think it's amazing.
Do you know my friend the Spud Hunter?
I don't know the Spud Hunter.
He's a big Doom guy, so I know a lot about Doom.
Cool.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, there you go. Well, point
He's
is,
Aussie as well. I might introduce you one day. Anyway, keep going.
I might try and do some speed running and stuff with Squadron once I've played through the story and enjoyed just the leisurely pace on the way through.
Good luck. Gotta sit here now for this 45-minute cinematic.
No, it'll be skip on that cinematic, so I can get back to blatting through.
Do you remember back in the day, like playing Metal Gear Solid? And I remember there was certain things where you get a 45-minute cinematic, you'll go out a corridor and around a corner, and then it'll be like another 45-minute cinematic. Like,
God, I love like, Metal Gear so much. I love it. I love it.
I'm like, oh, finally back to gameplay. What the?
I still remember when Metal Gear 4 came out. You could beat the game in under 4 hours if you skipped the cinematics.
Yeah. Well, think of how many games are like that now. Like The Last of Us would be another one like that. They got some massive cinematics. So yeah, like, and you look at some of those games, like when they have a really good story, and if they've been on this story for 10+ years, I've got to assume it's refined. I've got to assume it's somewhat decent. Paul keeps saying he's expecting like a 7 or 8 out of 10, but I think when you put all the sum of its parts together, like when it's big movie, cinematic and all that, I think it actually makes the score go up. So even if the story is only a 7 or an 8, I think the way certain things are presented, it can definitely
remember these things too, like these things are subjective, right? Yes. Some people like Star Trek, some people like Battlestar, some people like Star Wars, some people like Expanse. There's going to be aspects of this that depending on where that sci-fi spectrum, and I chose that word very carefully. Depending on where that sci-fi spectrum you land, you're going to be drawn to or pull away from this. So my point is, I think it's looking more. To me, it's looking more like a Battlestar than it is a Star Wars.
Yeah, but by the same token, I was going to say, like, I know people that have never seen Star Wars, and I just think they're heathens. But they're just not into that, right? And it's the same thing. Like, you'll generally say fantasy is more popular than sci-fi. Like, generalistically speaking. Yeah. The funny thing is, when they did a poll of Netflix back in the day, I can't remember what year it was, the #1 requested show was sci-fi shows.
Hmm.
and they now make more. They make a lot more sci-fi because of it. So it's a generational thing too.
And they all get
right?
cancelled. God damn it! All the good
Well, there's a
sci-fi shows get
reason-
cancelled.
There's a reason they get cancelled, because there's just. It's kind of like I said with, when we were talking earlier about, I said you need to have that discourse, the backwards and forwards. If you're in a team sitting there writing, you've got to be able to sit there and have those arguments to make the things come out. If you've just got someone that's a boss and you can't tell your boss that they're wrong, it don't work, because everyone's just a yes man to that boss. So these conflictions that we have or don't have as much anymore, because everyone's become, everyone, you go out to a running race now with Little Athletics for Kids and they all get a participation trophy. You've got to have a winner to motivate those people to want to be that winner.
To drive competition.
Yeah, you got to have competition, you got to have discourse, you got to have the backwards and forwards. And I'm only slowly learning this as I got older. I thought it was all great when I was younger. Yeah, everyone should get a chance and all that. But you start to see the reason why it's that survival of the fittest mentality, because you need that to get the innovation so we move forward as a species. We have really, like what you're seeing in the Netflix and the movies and the games, right, of the last, say, 10 years or so, is stagnation. There's no innovation because no one is driven or pushed to innovate. Streaming Wars came out and they were just like, oh, well, we don't need to make a good show anymore because we've only got to make one good show a month for basically the women and the men, and they'll pay for an entire month.
Kids.
And the kids. So maybe you need 3 shows a month and that's it. You don't need one every day of the week, every night of the week, where they turn up on Sunday at 7 p.m. to watch. Do you remember the movies of the week when we were kids?
Do you remember Neighbours?
Yeah, like none of those exist now. Like when's the last? Like comedies don't exist because they're too risky, they're too edgy. You might offend people, right? Yet you bring out a comedy special. Like I was watching Ricky Gervais yesterday, and he comes out and they try to cancel him. You know what that does? Straight to the top of the charts every time when they try to cancel him, because it advertises to people, oh, it's edgy, exciting, and funny and different. So they
it's called the Streisand effect.
That's exactly that.
Streisand effect.
And there's a reason why it's going the opposite of the way they want it to go, because people want that. They want. You're trying to tell people. It's like that whole. Remember the old analogy? I remember when I was a kid, they always said the thing about naughty Catholic schoolgirls, right? Do you remember that quintessential cliche? Because they're told they can't do something, when they finally get to do it, they go absolutely bananas. It's exactly the same thing. You're telling us we can't do this, so we're going to do the shit out of it.
Speaking of offending people, I'm going to need you to ban Riddick for reminding me that The Expanse got cancelled. So can you just ban him for me?
I'll just time him out. I'll time him out.
Yeah, time out for me if you can. Unbelievable. Yeah, beautiful. Click that one.
Hey guys, going.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what he gets. Unbelievable. Don't remind me The Expanse got cancelled. Riddick. Unbelievable. He's a friend of my stream, by the way.
Well, he can be pissed at me later.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Like that was an award-winning Sci-Fi Channel show. It was the most expensive show they made, and so to save money, they cancelled it.
Yeah.
And you'll notice also with Netflix, how often, do you remember when we were kids? Let's just look at Star Trek as an example, right? 26 episodes every week for half a year, and then they'd get 7+ seasons. Now, you're lucky if you get 8 episodes, and it goes for 5 seasons, because.
And that would be fine if the quality went up. Because obviously the quality of those bigger shows like your Doctor Who's and your Battlestars and your Star Treks, they sort of can lose themselves when they along the way when they have 20-something episodes or this sort of thing. But if they make less episodes but they're better quality, that would be good. But very often they're not better quality. Yeah.
Can you see why I read that quote that I read now? Can you see it? Like it's across the board. Like I found one thing that put it really concisely, and it just reminds me of it constantly. Right? That for this shit to be good, we have to have this discourse. We have to you have to be able to disagree with people across the board. Pick your subject. It doesn't matter if it's Star Citizen, Trump versus Biden, Albo versus God, who's the other one at the moment? Pick your political, politics, religion, science, whatever it is. You have to have that discourse, and we have moved into this safe. Let's not talk about it, to the point they're going to start censoring everyone too. We're going to this digital ID system where they're going to, you say something against me and I'm just going to silence you. No, we want to go the other way. We want to talk as much as possible. We want to criticize everything, because anything that's good, it's got to stand up to criticism. And that's how you know an idea is refined and brilliant, because it stands up to scrutiny. And, I think of anyone that did an invention, like I said earlier too, right? You get those people where they were criticized their entire lives, and then Thomas Edison made the light bulb. Over 1,000 light bulbs he made. I would have got to number 10 and go, this is impossible. He made 1,000 before, and they asked him, how did it feel failing at making a light bulb? And he goes, no, I only made one light bulb. I learned 999 ways not to make a light bulb. That's the positive attitude, right? Like, I don't have that. I'm complete negative Nancy. I'm the other way, right? But it's people like them that change the way our entire world works. And I understand, like you get those creative types and they have the most messy place. You get people that, I'm going to use Asmongold here, but he lives within cockroaches and a dirty place. But the things he says can be really on point. It does not determine your intelligence, how you live or how you act. It's how you act with other people and the things that you do, not the environment in which you live. I just think we're closing ourselves off. We need to open up. I think I'll leave it at that, because I can feel I'm very quickly opening this massive can of worms. But yeah.
Okay, next question.
Sorry, yeah, I just did it, and then Bob's like, "How do I respond to that?" All right, Project Gnome question: do you think we will see base building at AIE 2027?
2027. That's 2 years from now. Yeah, I think that's realistic. Yeah, I think that's realistic. I mean, they said they want to get their 1.0 out by 2028. I think to finish off the stuff they need to finish off the 1.0. I think that base building will need to be in so they can look at some other stuff, like moving on to like satellite building and all that sort of stuff. So
I'd say at the latest. Yeah, I think they want it in sooner rather than later. But clearly, there's been some pause there.
Something's happened.
Why has it been paused? When's it going to start up again? Who knows?
Yep.
And they'll inform us.
It's always something you don't expect. We sit here and think, oh, maybe it's a delay with the teams, or maybe they've had to shift their attention to something else. But then it turns out that it's actually some international law where you can't sell digital land property or something. It's something completely off kilter. I mean, we're talking about the elevator. Yeah, the elevators that weren't working, and then it turned out there was people dropping stim pens in elevators that was causing them to have issues. So it's always something you just don't ever know.
Being meowed at.
All right.
Good time.
It's okay. I'll grab next one. If CIG released a $25 crew starter packs that start you with a pulse or even equipment, do you think enough people would join and fill larger ships as a crew? I think that's a great idea, and I've talked about something similar. I think your idea is better than my idea. Like a $25 just pay to enter the game, and then once you're in the game, you then can board be a member of other people's ships. I don't own a Constellation. All I've got is a Pulse, but I'd love to put my Pulse into the cargo bay of your Constellation, and then go and get up some trouble for $25, and then they can upgrade later.
Me and Aaron have talked about this. I think it's very realistic what they're moving towards in the final version of the game. You'll buy a copy of the game, you'll install it, you'll sit down, you'll go to play, and when you first log into the game, it'll say, maybe it'll have a tutorial or something. They'll do it in an interactive way or whatever. Maybe they'll walk you through a showroom or something like that. But essentially, they're going to present you with a selection of starter ships. Whatever the starter ships are, those final ships, say 5, 10, however many they have, but just the starters, right? Not the advanced starters, just the starters. and they'll go pick one. And that's what you'll do. And they'll have a description about what they do, their advantages, their disadvantages, what type of gameplay they lead into, that type of thing. And then they'll, you know, and then as you go through the missions, they'll go, you know, so now you've got a choice to make. And they show you the advanced starters. And then they go, but you could do more of what you're doing and get an adventure. Or would you like to try mining in a golem? Would you like to try salvage in a salvation? And you can quickly see the stepping stones. And that, you know, and they go, oh, would you like to try and do a mission with another person? You can see where it all goes. And then at the same token, they might also go, oh, would you like to take a break and do this mission for this other person on their ship and be their crewmate?
I think it's I think having even I'm thinking, like, is there a world where you could go I was gonna say, is there a world where you can go free to play and you don't have ships to get more people in, but then free to play brings cheaters, so no, it's not good.
I really hope they never go free to play. I am massively against free to play for one simple reason, and that's the psychology of it, right? And let's just use League of Legends as an example, right? If you are free to play, there is nothing to stop you coming in, trolling the shit out of people, getting them banned and yourself in the process. But the person that you get banned on the other side, they could have spent thousands of dollars and they get treated exactly the same with the same ban hammer as the person that was for free to play, and that's not fair. Free to play accounts, in my opinion, should be a one strike ban, and I think if you're on a Thingo account, you should be on a 3-strike rule, and after a certain amount of time, your account's given back. By the way, they've had to change their rules at Riot, because here in Australia, if they ban you from something, you can literally take them to court. And there are people in Australia, because you've only got to take them to a local court. It's like $500, and as soon as you pay the $500, Riot will just give you your account back like that, because otherwise they're going to fly a lawyer out to do the court case, and that's going to cost them a lot more than $500. But they'll deliberately wait until you put in the $500, and then they'll give it to you. And then the court just dismisses it, but the court gets to keep the $500.
Then you can
so
go back to slamming.
Annoying. But if you're
you can go back to slamming the N-word in global chat, then get banned again and pay $500, and then go back to slamming the N-word in global chat and then get banned. This is the thing. I'm all for bans. I think that people should have to make a very.
It depends what the ban is, right? So you can be you can be racist and stuff, and I agree with that as a ban. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
but also
like exploiting. Ban your if you're cheating or exploiting, ban the account. If they're being a bigot.
And if you're just talking harshly to someone, going, "You're a fucking asshole. Why did you kill me? Why did you do that?" That's nothing, right?
You're not going to get banned for that anyway.
You'd be surprised. You'd be. So my account got hacked, right? My account got hacked. And it wasn't me, because I hadn't played on the account in about 5 years, and I came back to use it and it had been banned, and I had no idea why. And when I went through and read what they'd accused me of, I actually had to look up what this word meant at the time. But the main word they accused me of using was mongoloid. I didn't even know what it meant. And when I looked it up, it was apparently a derogatory term towards Aboriginals, and I had never even heard of it. And I went, that can't have been me. I don't know what that word means. I would never use that word, and I'm not racist like that. And I told them. Anyway, I fought them on this for 15 years. And I got my account back. It took from I think it was from 2011 to 2004 to 2024, but I got my account back. And I did lose some stuff. Like I lost my name because they put the account up for deletion, but I never accepted the deletion, so it just sat there for 15 years. But yeah, they'd taken my name away, so I lost my name. But other than that,
I'm all for banning. I'm pretty harsh about it. I think if you
under Australian law, you can't ban someone from something they've purchased online.
I totally disagree with it. I just don't think that there's a world where someone can slam racism into a chat and then expect to get their account back. They're breaking terms of service.
You can punish that person though, so you can make it so they can only play with other races. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
you know.
No, because then you I don't want to get into it too much, but then you unite them to the cause. Anyway, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
that too.
Point is, I'm all against it, and I think the banhammer should swing. Let it swing. Fuck them all.
Yeah, but
All right, let's go next question.
Mistakes happen too, and people don't learn from their mistakes as well. So that's the other side of it too.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Notebot. Bastion says they mentioned crafting improvements to component ships and even the base frame. Do you think that insurance system will cover this as well as be part of the permanent loss?
They mentioned crafting improvements
to components and ships. So he's talking about going up to level 5 of the ships, I think is what he's trying to mention. And components to even base frame. Do you think the insurance system will cover? Yes, of course the insurance system will cover that.
So he's talking about
levels of ships.
Your ships.
Yeah,
right?
upgrading your ship, upgrading your components. Well, I think the ship and the frame is the same thing. But yeah, you can get better quality components. And we know about that because of the Endeavour's super collider module. Was stated to make better crafted components and upgrade them and stuff like that. So we now know that that's a part of the game because they've talked about ships going up to level 5.
Yep.
I think it'll all be a part of the insurance. I think you'd have to agree with me. The higher level of ship, maybe the higher level of insurance. I think that's probably a given.
Yep.
But that said, like if it's anything like Freelancer, insurance usually, and when I asked Chris this years ago, maybe doing one mission will cover your insurance on that ship for an entire month. So it's not a really big expenditure. It's like a very small percentage. Like it was a very, very, very cheap thing that you had to pay back in the day. And so anyone that's prayed for Freelancer know what I'm talking about. Essay. Oh, not this asshole again. Why do you support gingers on camera? They're basically ghosts. I told you it was an asshole. You didn't believe me.
I actually had to adjust my my cinematic lens on my camera to even get myself to appear. If you want to learn how to get someone like me, a ginger, to appear on camera, go watch Poltergeists. It'll give you all the info you need on how to get us to appear on camera.
Yeah. Right. I told you. Aaron Lent says, unpopular opinion, Star System does not have light or medium machine guns. It only has automatic rifles of various calibers. Deployment matters, discuss. So he wants light, medium.
They've started to edge into this. So they talked about this in an Inside Star Citizen a little while ago, specifically relating to machine guns. They were talking about how the handheld light machine guns will like increase across caliber. So you start with like the FS9 as the lightest version of light machine guns, something that's equivalent to like an M249. And then you sort of climb through to something that's a little bit heavier, like that rotary Gatling handheld, which is more of like your medium light. And then you go up towards something like a pulverizer, which is firing 50 cal from the shoulder. Big dump mags on it, can damage vehicles, actually does significant damage to vehicles. So they are sort of building that across their weapon systems. They're not necessarily just designated heavy machine gun or light machine gun, but they are there. And then, of course, like your like HMGs, say something like your Mardus, well, that's your vehicle-mounted stuff. So that's your Scorpion that's mounted on top of, say, a Ursa or something like that, not something that you would be carrying. In the same way, you're not going to be getting around with a Mardus shoulder-mounted, firing at 50 Browning. So, yeah.
Already. Patri says, do you think the Starfarer gameplay and rebuild will happen anytime soon? A rework on the Starfarer or rebuild?
We were talking about this on my stream the other night when you were on.
Yeah.
Do you want to reiterate what you said? We were talking about whether they attack RSI or MISC first with reworking the Connie Mark II or the MISC Mark II. And
Freelancer or Connie, I think we were talking about, yeah.
Yeah, but I was saying that the Starfarer is a good excuse for them to maybe focus MISC. It would be the excuse to focus MISC.
It also you probably get tips that hat to this when they start doing refueling gameplay and gas collection. There's a lot of gameplay in that Starfarer. It essentially has two series of ships in it, the gas collection and the refining. So when you kind of work on one, you probably, like, put it this way: if they work on the Expanse, why wouldn't they put that at gameplay into the Starfarer? Look, it's just a given. You know, we're
Yeah, for
gonna,
sure.
you know, we've got the refinery module coming with the Galaxy, so the chances are we're going to get a bit of refining stuff for the Starfarer and the Expanse this year as well. It gives them 3 ships that can do refining, rather than just the 1 or the 2. And we're going to need it, because otherwise going to the station and back, like, it's a really nice to have, right? If we're just all, you don't, it's not essential because you can go to the stations, but boy, that's annoying, and it's going to affect so many gameplays.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but right now, if you use the refueling on the Starfarer, it enters into a rapid spin with the vehicle that attaches to it, and 30
Yeah.
and 30K is the server.
Yep.
We 30K to server 3 times the other night, using the Starfarer trying to connect a wolf to it. So right now it's in a rough spot and really needs a bit of attention. So hopefully sooner rather than later.
And obviously refueling's taken a bit of a back seat now, because you don't really need refueling until you get more systems and stuff like that. So
For sure.
you probably want refining before you want refueling, because obviously you need to be able to make the fuel. So you need to be able to make it, then do the refueling. So we need refining, and then I think after that we'll get the refueling. Again, it's one of those few things where you saw the horse before the cart.
I think they put it out because they had this idea, and I might be wrong. I haven't spoken to anyone at COG about this, but I think they had this idea that Pyro was going to be, a lot harder to get around Pyro, and I think they wanted to have a ship ready for that. That's why they got into refueling, because they were like, okay, that 80 GM distance between, say, Checkmate.
I don't think it's that. I think it was when they changed jump points, and it's
okay.
Like, and I can prove it. If you go to
show me.
Robert Space. Oh, God, if I could only type. Why do I keep pressing F? Robert Space Industries star map, and then I bring everyone over. Let's make sure everyone came over. Yep, good. And Space is, wait a second. Right, down here at the bottom, you can turn on different size jump points. These don't exist anymore, because they're now all the same size. Back in the day, you had small, medium, and light jump points, right? So they were going to make it so that, so think about it, if I turn these all off, right, the Starfarer can only go through large jump points. Large and capitals only go through that. So if I, we're a smaller ship, like if I can't even go to Cano. It's impossible to get to Cano. But if I turn on small jump points or medium jump points, you see what I mean? Those ships can get in there. So they've changed all that right now, and it's all the same size. So now essentially they've made the universe kind of smaller. And the advantage that they're going to have is when those transient jump points open, they're the ones that are going to have different sizes. So if you get a small jump point opening, all A's might be able to go through, something like that, right? So the gameplay is, and one of the reasons they've done that is because then explorers can go out and find these transient jump points repetitively, more frequently, so it gives explorers a lot more to do, right?
Yeah.
So to lead that all back around, that just kind of proves my point about what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
To basically wrap up the question, I think they will do it. I don't know whether it's soon, but I think they'll do it. Probably after Galaxy, right? Somewhere around there, they might go back to it.
It's a pretty extensive rework, and I think it would probably have to be after we've seen refining and after we've seen the other fuel transporters come in. It's just my personal opinion. I think it functionally works. It's like a priority thing, right? It functionally works. Doesn't work that well, and it's a clusterfuck on the inside, but it works. Like the 600i. Samurai functionally works. There's no real gameplay there for it yet. You need the gameplay before you come back and rebuild the ship. It's that simple. So you're not going to see those things until their gameplay comes along. And let's be honest, they're going to test bed that gameplay in another ship. Pretty straightforward. Zig79 says, hang on, he says, X, would you ever put your streams on Spotify? I love your content. Be nice to listen to them at work. Well, you can listen to them on YouTube at work. The main reason I don't is just laziness. I can't be bothered. Too much work. It's just another thing I got to maintain. You know, the only reason I stream on Twitch is I hit one button, it goes to both places. It's just that simple. Is there any monetary gain? Do I personally get anything out of the extra work?
Yeah, you will. Not much.
Can I sell it on Spotify? I didn't even know if that was a thing. I do know there was a guy that asked us years ago if he could put them on Spotify, and we told him he could, and he just stopped doing it after a while. I don't know why. He would just take the episode, download it, convert it into an MP3, and he'd put it on Spotify. I don't know. I don't see the benefit to me myself personally. Maybe if someone else wants to do it. More platforms, more money. Can be good. So what I've just heard there from Piss Poor Pete is Piss Poor Pete has nominated himself to download every episode, convert it to MP3, and he'll put them up on Spotify for you. And if he doesn't, it's Piss Poor Pete's fault. Yeah. And
also South Park animate you and Algorit's heads.
Oh yeah.
Flapping up and down.
Yeah.
Like he does. Like.
Yeah. But yeah, if it doesn't happen soon, you can blame Pete. It's all Pete's fault when it doesn't happen. Yeah. Oh, it's just the extra work. And again, as I said, like a lot of people just open in the background at work on a browser. I don't know. Can you only install Spotify at work but not the browser? That seems a bit weird to me.
Yeah. So as somebody listens to Spotify, for music and for podcasts, you can have your phone locked in your pocket without paying a subscription to YouTube. So you can like listen to it without having the screen up. So if you're working away at work, you don't have to have your phone up and open and looking at it.
It's a premium, so it's a premium feature of YouTube to have your phone locked.
Correct.
Well, I guess you could just have your phone plugged in on your desk and do the same thing. Just plug it into your computer and have it constantly charging.
What if you don't have a job like me where you have your own private office and instead you're out in the open and you've got to make sure no one can see you looking at your phone?
So this is what do you call this concept called gravity? And if you put the phone screen down, nobody can see it. Out of sight,
Jesus
out
fucking
of mind.
Christ! You were talking before about Thomas Edison and great breakthroughs. Jesus!
Just leave the screen on, but put it face down. No one's gonna know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I just a lot of extra work. And I just don't like, again, because the other thing is I'd have to take the file, right? So again, this I'd actually have to re-download this because it's automatically put up on YouTube for me, right? And Twitch. So I'd have to re-download this, convert it to MP3, and then re-upload it. So it's actually more work than what I do now. I don't do anything now. I just sit down and press the button.
It's also more data for them if they're streaming video. Again, I'm just pointing stuff out. I'm gonna watch on YouTube or on Twitch anyway, but just for them, just to make an argument for those who can't, they're not streaming a whole video; they're just streaming an audio file, which is infinitely less data.
I guess it just means you're just gonna have to get another premium subscription on YouTube or Twitch. Can't you watch a VOD on Twitch after it's gone up?
You can.
Oh, so you just can't watch the pre-recorded shows on Spotify. That's what it would be. He wants the pre-recorded shows on Twitch.
That's something to look into.
I guess you could also download. Couldn't you just download the YouTube episode yourself and convert it to MP3 and then listen to it at work?
Premium.
So
feature.
basically, what you're asking me is to do all the work for you, but you're too lazy to do it yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Son of a bitch. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I'm a lazy mofo. You could blame me. It's my fault. Hey,
all right.
You could also train Agra to do something, and then he might be able to contribute somehow. Because all Agra does is turn up. and then and I've got to turn up at the time he wants to turn up, and then I click the record button, and then and I make all the graphics and do that. But yeah, Agri's got the easy job, the talking. But Bops, you know how hard it is too. You do your own stuff too, don't you? You're a one-man band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
But
actually, no. I should give credit to Slip because he does my YouTube stuff. So thank you, Slip.
Okay.
Yeah.
But isn't it easier when you turn up to say something like this, where I've done everything? You just turn up and talk.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Well, that's basically what Agri does every week. Anyway, right. Next one is by some Greek name one. Although they said they are working on stuff that didn't say in SitCon, you think we're gonna have building in 2026?
We've answered that one.
I think they're aiming for it, but maybe
that before,
might be a bit unlikely. Yeah. Siegfried Udan says, question, will they remove ships that were received in the executive hangars?
I think so, because I don't think they're not attributed to you and your actual Star Citizen account. If you want to know, the minute the patch day happens, come on over to my stream and say, Bops, do you still have your 15 Seulins? Because I'm sure I'll have 15 or 16 exec Seulins by then. So
the ones I think that shouldn't be wiped are like those massive annoying quest chains, like the ones to, the Wicklow stuff. I don't think the Wicklow stuff should be done.
I think in future they shouldn't. I think this time they need to, because right now they've released the Idris and the Polaris and a few of these things, and because the economy's blown out to where people have billions, some people have trillions of dollars.
If you brought the items, then it's deleted. But if you, okay, so that
there's no way to differentiate. So I think this time,
but it's not.
Yeah, I think this time they wipe.
It's
in
not
future
fair to the people who did the right thing though, because
I know.
I spent hours and hours. Like I spent probably close to 45 hours doing that armor, the Corbel silver armor. It was a fucking nightmare, and I got it done. And if they just delete that, I'm gonna be so pissed. So pissed.
I think they're gonna do a full wipe. I'm pretty sure. I think we'll lose.
Can't they pick certain items though, so they can go, all right, so if it's an Idris, wiped, but if it's the Corbel silver armor, no.
The Wicklow, I don't have any Wicklow stuff because I don't trust that tree bastard. But I think they want to rebalance the economy and see how it feels.
You call him a tree bastard? Is that what you call him? A tree?
I did call him a tree bastard.
It's not Groot.
Because they're made of wood. No, they are. They're made of wood.
No, they're not.
They're wood people.
No, they're not. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're wood people.
All right, let's teach Bops again.
Banu.
Citizen. Look, they come in different colors and stuff, and
they're wood. Go to their Wikipedia page. They're wood people. They're tree people.
What?
There's turtle people and there's tree people.
I've never seen them as tree people. I've always just seen them as,
tree people.
And they come in different colors. Like there's been many concepts of them over the years, But they're
many different tree people.
If anything, their culture is Middle Eastern, like Persians and stuff.
I'm not talking about their culture. I'm talking about what they're made out of.
I've seen blue ones, red ones, purple ones. Like they have different colors. You reckon they're made of wood? Do you? I've never seen them.
I don't know. I don't know. Taking the piss.
Here I thought you were a hippie and tree hugger, but no, I've been proven wrong. He's a timber fella. He just wants to cut all the trees down.
But anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about something.
We get distracted.
Yeah. So Wicklow, I think they want to balance the Wicklow economy because again, Wicklow is the precursor to crafting, right?
Yep.
I know it's not a little machine that you're putting two things into and a box is being printed, but it's the same thing. It is a elevator that you put stuff into and it creates something. It's their precursor to crafting. Yep. It's the way they're testing crafting. So I think they will wipe Wicklow because they want you to go back there with all your ASD drives and go back there with all of your Valacar bits and put them all in to try and test the crafting aspect.
I guarantee you now, if they wipe, I am never going back there. I am going to be so I just refuse to go to Wicklow. And I know I'm not the only one because they've put people through hell.
People hate him.
I can understand wiping the ships because they're bigger items and they're the ones that were exploited, but you can't exploit things like the Kabul armor. Like, you have to do it yourself. So I think they need to pick which things they wipe and not just wipe all of them blanketly, because I'm telling you right now, if they wipe that Kabul armor, I'm strongly worded email would be going to Elliot. And
as someone who role plays Dune, you've seen my stream, screaming Lisan Al Gaib Muad'Dib. I've got my boom tube that I got from Wicklow. It's the only time I've ever been to him, and I really hope they don't take my boom tube, but I'm worried they will. We'll see.
Well, I've got multiple armors from him now that are quite rare. I got the very, when they brought out the one at the first patch bundle, it had the black bones and all that. They brought out a white version at Wicklow. I have that, the full set. I've got an Ascended S71. It's one of the most expensive guns in the entire game. It's literally just a white version of the S71. But the ingredients to make it are insane because it requires like a Jalenite or something like that. And you need I think you need 2 or 3 of it for the Polaris, and I use 1 on a gun. It's worth like 35 million on its own or something. It's just ridiculous. And then I've got the other one, which was the Corbel Silver Iron Man looking one, and that's probably the one I like the most. That's the one I really don't want to lose.
I want the A2. I want the A2 that's painted white like a C2. I haven't got it, but I want it so bad.
Well, again, if they wipe that, can't they just give you the skin? So you lose the access to the ship, but they apply the skin to your account.
No,
done.
X. X. We're in alpha. There's going to be more wipes and more wipes. I'm not so entitled that I think that I deserve a skin because I engaged with the gameplay in their alpha. Like, I don't. No, just wipe the game. I'll deal with it. I'll get it again. That's my opinion. Like, I know it sucks, but we're in an alpha state of the game. Do you expect every wipe for them to give us something? No, just wipe it. Just wipe it. Let's keep going.
It's just the amount of hours I put in.
It just sucks. Yeah, it sucks.
It even it annoys me to think that someone's going to be able to come along and maybe 3 or 4 hours get what I got in 45 type of thing. So
yeah.
All right. Cantrill also asks, how long do you think we will be before the game's able to make shipboard refrigeration useful? Comes back to plants.
Refrigeration.
So we do have this. This is a thing. It is the only ship that currently has it is the 400i. And so we also know from the biomes on the Endeavour, they've talked about if you wanted to produce certain plants, you could take them to a certain nebula or sun, and they will affect how they grow and change the outcome. So by the same token, if you have a certain animal from a certain planet and it needs a certain atmosphere, you can recreate that atmosphere on a biodome or a ship. But climate controlled or temperature controlled, 400i does that as well. So
you could do it with cargo too. Like you could have explosive substances or food that might spoil or these sort of things. So
we eventually will get an entire ship though, where the entire ship is climate controlled, not just an individual cargo container. Because when you do the individual cargo container, you've got to have part of its cargo is taken up by the part that does it plus its own power source. Right, so you might lose half your cargo just to be able to get, a cold storage box. But if the entire ship or the ship does the coldness, as an example, then the entire hold can be full of that shit.
And also, I just realized this is also already in the game because I have a Saber Raven and it's very cool. Cool. It's very
NonStopBops thoughts and beliefs are not those of the Inforunners.
Very cool.
Or subsidiaries.
All right, moving on.
Fuck. Right. Control also says, do you think that they will reissue SC dog tags when Squadron starts? Well, yeah, again, they could do a physicalized edition that comes with dog tags. Absolutely.
For sure.
That's a really good idea, actually. Get your own custom dog tags that for Squadron or
have your gamer tag on it. Yeah,
that's something they could sell on them. I've said for a while, like they could have done custom dog tags because you can get these machines that make dog tags, and all they'd have to do is, they have them custom printed, but then when they print your name on it, and then they just ship it. And there are machines, the digital ones that literally change the name and stamp it. and off you go. But yeah, I don't know. SA says, did Algrid turn into a leprechaun?
You're damn right he did.
Why is he attacking you today? What did you do to piss him off?
But it's fun.
Normally going for you. He normally goes for me. So I'm just having to relax. I don't know what you did. It's a funny, but there's only one Aussie leprechaun, and that's Crunchy.
Yeah, Crunchy's leprechaun.
Yeah.
My guys refer to me as an orangutan. So I prefer oranga instead of leprechaun.
Really pisses him off. So me and Agri use it all the time. So when you see him, just say, "Hey, what's up, leprechaun?" If anyone sees him, like he's got the Atmo esports thing, just go, "Hey, leprechaun," and livid as fuck straight away, because he's like really tall, and leprechauns are really short. So he sees that as a complete insult. He shouldn't, because it's clearly why we're calling him the leprechaun. But yeah, it's so funny that he gets so triggered. Anyway. R_display info says, do you think they made ship repair only at large stations and landing zones, not planetary pads, i.e. mining stations, be better? Yeah, go ahead. You take it.
Yeah, so I'm someone who consistently is talking about wanting to get spawns off of major locations and onto minor locations.
Yeah.
So no longer spawning on space stations and capitals, spawning it somewhere on Bloom or whatever. I've thought about this a lot, and there are a lot of locations on planets that are just like a pad, right? So somewhere like one that everyone knows, SED Schumann Mining 1 on Daymar, which is just a pad. Should somewhere like that be able to repair? Maybe not. But then somewhere like Chawlers on Pyro 4 has these like sunken Star Wars style pits, right? I'm sure you've seen them before, where they're actually like they're a ship bay, but they're planet side at a smaller location. So I think it's just about defining what it is that can be repaired. Like maybe the pads can be
different levels
used for refuel.
Different levels of repair. So again, you bring tech levels into it. But the low area talking there might only be hand tools or a little bit above hand tools. What happens when you go up to a space station and they've got drones for repair? What happens when you go to a station that's really high end and it's literally got the crucible arms? Haven't got to that yet because the crucible arms are not in yet.
Yep.
You know, do they have fabricators where you can reprint new components or a new wing or whatever it is? Not there yet.
Yeah.
Not there yet. Sorry, indigestion.
Good.
So yeah, they will expand. I think the first step of it is already in game, which is the SRV. Post someone to them, get them repaired. And the next step will be things like the Crucible and the Vulcan and whatever other ships come along. Yeah. Axis 0096 gifted a tier 1 sub to Dr. Krakus. So that one. I wanted to read this by Pistol Pete because I think it was pretty funny. And this is kind of like he feels a lot like I feel. So he says, Pistol Pete says, if I lose another 4 ASD sets I earned because they didn't just do a money wipe, I might drop kick Chris Roberts in the dick.
Well,
because you go through a lot to get those sets.
There's two sides of this argument though. So I want to see all my ships go. I'm sick of looking at the messy ship list I have.
That's fine. But I think they need to cherry pick what they delete and don't, basically.
But also, I look at my inventory with 200,000 armors, 600,000 guns, clothing that I've just picked, garbage I've picked up over the last year and a bit. It's got just nonsense in there that I don't need anymore. I'd like to see it all just gone. I want to see all my. I want just a fresh start. We're in 4.6 or whatever. We haven't had a wipe since Pyro. We've got Nix. We've got engineering. Let's start again.
It's just those
wipe all my ship components.
It's just that those hard to get items, and if you can literally pay money to get them, they're not hard to get. So things like, you know, I've seen people go out and they buy all the components to buy a Wicklow Polaris, and they spend like 300 million or something ridiculous, right? That stuff I don't have a problem being wiped because it wasn't earned. But if you do a quest where the only way to get it was to grind through, and yeah, it was originally designed to be 15 runs. I know that Corbel Arm was designed to be 15 runs, but because of all the bugs and shit that I had to go through, it was literally like 45 of them, and they all took like an hour plus each. That's That's the type of stuff. So you have to make allowances for that because it took way longer than it should have done because of the bugs and issues. So I think they could go through and look at certain ones and say, all right, this one we're not going to wipe, this one we are going to wipe.
You're missing my point though. Again,
no, I get your point. You want a fresh start.
But also, Wickelow's designed to test crafting. So let's wipe it all so that people are putting stuff into Wickelow to continue to test crafting. You see? Like it's...
But you're missing there are some people that put true time in, and there are other people that brought and paid for it.
Yeah, but that's with everything. It's an alpha game.
Yeah, I know, but you're punishing some people that really... You're turning them off from ever wanting to play the game again. Because they put all that time and grind in, and you're just going to make it worth nothing?
Well, I'm not doing it. CIG will be doing it, and they'll be doing it in a couple of months. So get ready for it.
You get my point.
It's coming.
I haven't really stated yet exactly what it's going to be, but
they said full wipe. No, they did. They said full wipe. So just be. All I'm saying is just be ready for it. Just be ready. On Spectrum, they said full wipe.
It doesn't matter on Spectrum. You can't say anything on Spectrum. They just ban your ass. Don't take criticism.
No, the CIG guy. The CIG guy. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yep. Romoin. Oh, so wait, this is Donnie. Donnie says, when do you think we'll be reintroducing the solar flare to Pyro and the astro belt of Pyro 4? I do know the solar flare is a tech issue. I've talked to people, so that's just a tech that they haven't done yet. And the asteroid belt will probably be sooner rather than later because they did it in Nyx. I think that shows that they worked on an asteroid belt, does it not?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I'd like to see the flares come back as well. Makes the game interesting, especially for all of us that are like I'm super excited to see how the flares play at the exec hangars because the exec hangars are right next to the sun. They're like right next to it.
It's a priority tech thing. I know that. I've talked to people. What they had in was kind of a stopgap and it didn't really work very well. So they need to make some tech to get it to work. But again, it's a priority order. It's not going to be in every system. It's only in Pyro. It's just a priority thing. It's going to really drop off. And I can't even tell you how long for it. So how long is a piece of string question? Literally. It's just a priority. Okay, we're down to the last few questions. Donnie asks again, are Banu basically ants? Is that how you say them? Ants. There's a link there. We need to get Don Rhys Davies to voice one of the Banu then, if that's the case. Because he obviously did Bid, so yeah. Supersize says, as someone how wants a Terrapin, when is the next time it will go on sale? On sale. Clearly not an English speaker. I would say it's military. No, pretty sure it'll be I think it's a military. Isn't it? Military.
Yeah, they normally military scanning ship, forward operating ship.
So it should be available in Invictus at the very latest, but it could be so. Actually, wouldn't it be available this month with the last? It's only the ships from last year, isn't it? Still in January. Not all of them. It's the ships of last year. So yeah, the Terrapin won't be there. So yeah, I think you're going to be waiting for Invictus at the latest for that one, which will be like May. I do need to say we've been wished Happy New Year by a shit ton of people this stream, and I haven't acknowledged it once. So yeah, thank you to everyone for the will. We'll pass that on to Albert as well. Yeah, Bops, I think you want to say anything to that? No.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah. Like, there's been heaps of it coming through, and Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone is better this year than they were last year, and continues to be so.
Yeah, let's hope it's a better year than last. Yeah. That's all our questions for this week, Bobs. We're done and Rooney. Is there anything you'd like to add? We wrap it up. Are you streaming later today, or?
Yeah, I'm not going to be streaming now. I'll stream later on. But I will be back around later on if anyone wants to come by. We'll see how Star Citizen runs, and then go from there. It's been a bit rough, so we might play some X4 if you guys want to check that out. We've been having fun with a bit of X4 and a few other sci-fi games. So,
other than Loken, I don't see anyone raid. Hang on, I'm bringing it across. Trying to look for people I know. Is anyone here you know?
Let me open my Twitch, see if there's anyone around.
I can only really see Loken.
Oh, I don't know if you've got a good relationship with Vertigo. He's streaming at the moment. He's doing art though.
Doing art?
Yeah.
In Road Vertigo. What? HC Vertigo.
HC Vertigo. Yep. I like Vertigo. He's a good egg.
He is. I think that's how you spell it. Ready? Alright, so what are we going to ask Vertigo? What are we going to get him to ask? There you go over there. Is he looking forward to 2026 and Squadron?
Yeah, sounds good.
And how you know how certain superheroes are triggered? How do you trigger Vertigo so he turns into Captain Flannel? I'd like to know how does he morphosize into Captain Flannel? What is the you know, is it like water, like with the Gremlins? You know, what is the thing that triggers it so he turns into Captain Flannel? Ask him that.
Yeah.
We'll be listening. All right. Thank you for joining us. Twitch say bye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. Bye. And they're going. All right. Let's have a listen in. Just kind of hear him. He muted?
Oh, I think he just finished.
Perfect. Ready for that? Classic.
Legend. All right.
Oh, so
he'll
good.
write.
All right. Well, awesome. Nice to see you, Vertigo. Yeah. Best thing ever. Best raid ever. That was amazing. All right. He'll raid off to someone else, and I'll get somewhere else. It's just like, yeah, look, he gave us the thumbs up. Like, classic. It's so good. All right then. I don't know the exact episode that's coming out this week, but we do have another episode coming out. Actually, I probably can look it up again. One this week is this one, which is the Mercury Star Runner review that me and Agrit did. So that's like a ship scrutiny of the Mercury Star Runner. So look for that one coming out. You got anything else coming up, Bobs, or do you want to? You already spoofed your channel, didn't you?
Yeah, check me out on Twitch/NonStopBops. The YouTube is starting to post a few little bits and bobs now. Like I said, Slipcore's posting. We played through a horror game, and there's a couple of other things that we've got coming there as well. So it's a bit of fun. He is very efficient. German. Yes.
Slipcore's very German, very efficient. He talks like this.
Yes.
Very cool guy. I like hanging out with Slip. He's my favorite. Offense, Bob.
All my Deutschlanders.
My favorite. Yeah.
I've got so many Deutschlanders in my stream. Ich habe große Liebe für meine Deutschlanders. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I don't know what that means. Anyway. All right, then. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank everyone on the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. With that, then, he's been NonStopBops.
He's been Execute.
See you, citizens.
See you guys.